Good day, one and all. I am the mad god of games, and tonight we're playing games. With me is the Mr. Terrible Twin, Irving Twin. How are you, sir?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Good to have you aboard. And also playing the anti-hero slash vigilante, Mr. Rot, we have Pox Toxic. Good evening, Pox. How are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good. How are you boys?
The god is well. The mad god is well. So we're going to pick up where we left off last time, if that's all the same to you, just
Smells
as a
good.
refresher. As a refresher, the last time you folks were had become embroiled in a conflict between a hate group called the Neo-Humanists and the poor hapless souls of Bugtown, which is a homeless encampment that has gathered amongst it people who are victims of what's a virus called the bug. The bug virus has this strange effect of spreading via sexual contact or sharing needles or what have you, bodily fluid exchanges, and short incubation period. But once it's done, it leaves victims with profound mutations, and that's why it got the name the bug. Primarily because one of the earliest cases involved an infected who mutated insect-like features, so it was called the bug. Now the mutations are widely varied, and it's gathered a small community of perhaps 100 souls in this underpass or overpass underneath an overpass where all of these people who have been affected by the virus are just sort of congregating and trying to live a life, because not everybody's happy when a guy walks into Dunkin' Donuts and he's got bug eyes or mandibles or antenna or horns on his head. So yeah, that's what happened. You guys were there helping the people out, making sure everybody's safe, and boom, a hate group calling themselves the Neo-Humanists rushed in, and you took care of them in short order. And at the end of it all, you guys enjoyed a cookout with the people of Bugtown, and went on your merry way, making contact with them, telling them that we're here for you if you need us. Just reach out, kind of thing. Now, Mr. Rot and the Templar routinely patrol Beacon City, which is a city on the west coast in California, near the Vandenberg Space Force Base, and they tend to patrol sort of the less savory areas of town, which has sort of brought them why they were brought into contact with Bugtown. We're going to start off as your night shift comes to a close. You've been patrolling for several hours. Let's say this is almost a week. Let's say about a week after the last incident you had, after the last scenario that we played, the last session. In game time, it's been about a week since the attack on Bugtown. And you guys have been going about your regular patrols, and it's the end of the night. It's probably about 3 a.m. when you guys stop patrolling, because even criminals call it a night at some point. And you hit your local dive bar, and you see that on the monitor there's a news broadcast, and you're catching the tail end of it. And one of the patrons at the bar there says, "Yo, Frankie, turn it up."
Yourself clear, Jenna. The freaks of Bugtown need to be removed one way or another. When I'm mayor, I'll make it happen.
And that's what you catch. You catch the tail end of an interview on BCK here in Beacon City, and there's Eric Cross again, mayoral hopeful, talking shit about your friends in Bugtown. And this time he's explicit. He's saying that he's going to get rid of them one way or the other. The guy at the bar who asked them to turn it up, he seems perturbed by this. He's kind of pissed at this guy, and he takes a sip of his beer and he says, "That fucking guy." Are you guys in your hero outfits, or have you changed to your civvies?
Cities?
Sure.
Your civvies? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you put the costumes away, and you're sitting there in the bar just enjoying a well-deserved drink. And yeah, that's what you hear. And then the bartender, he goes back to, the stereotypical washing the glass and settling out receipts and giving people their tabs and stuff. He doesn't want to get involved in the conversation. But the guy who asked Frankie to turn it up, he's visibly upset and perturbed, and he turns to you. He's just down the bar from you. He turns to you. You believe that fucking guy? Who the fuck does he think he is? Those poor sons of bitches. They got it bad enough, and now he's talking about running them out. What a cocksucker!
And Edwin Priest says, huh, they.
They. What do you mean? What do you mean? He doesn't understand what you mean.
Yeah, I just sip my beer now.
Okay.
And, while that little interaction's happening, Rod's gonna polish off the beer he was working on, and he just whips the beer bottle at the TV. He doesn't hit it; it just like smashes next to it. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Okay, so this is a dive bar, and it gets real rowdy in here. The bartender gives you a look like, "Do you mind? Like, come on, man." And he's kind of pissed, but he doesn't outwardly say, "All right, get the fuck out" or anything like that. He's just like, he looks over you and he's like, "Really?" And
He just kind of shrugs at him.
He goes to get a broom and a fucking dustpan to what do you call it, to sweep it up, and then he dumps it in the garbage, giving you a look and says, "Think you've had enough there, Donnie?"
Come on, Frankie. It's just that was the first one here, and then he pulls out, he gets his wallet out, and lays a $5 on the table.
It's been a quiet night. I like to keep it that way. So, keep your antics to yourself, you green-haired son of a bitch.
Understood.
Eddie,
Understood. This has been
it's
been a long week, man. I'm sorry.
All right, whatever. And so you finish your drinks, and you pick up that apart from this guy who was pissed and said "F that guy," nobody else seems to be perturbed or even bothered by the whole notion. Everybody in town knows about the bug virus. People are, have opinions one way or the other, but most people, they're like, this is Beacon City. It's where the superheroes come and congregate. Like, weird shit's happening all the time. This too shall pass. They don't really give it much mind, right? But they know that this Eric Cross is running on a campaign of public safety and public health, and he's got strong opinions.
Now, for clarification,
Yeah.
You're calling him Frankie. This is the same bartender from session 1, right? Same bar?
Yeah, why don't we say it's the same bar, the Rusted Anchor, I think it's called.
Right, okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, was that his name too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah, it's Frankie, guy with the, and he knows. Well, he doesn't know you out of costume, probably.
No,
but
and he doesn't
he
like
knows
us
you're
in
regular,
costume.
so that's why he's not being an asshole. You notice he's wearing a You notice he's wearing a turtleneck though.
I had assumed when you called him Frankie, it was the same bar. That's why when he was saying those people, they just leave them alone. I was like, huh, they.
Okay. Well, is that a dig at the whole?
No, that I know that he's mutated.
Oh no, it wasn't Frankie who said that. It was like Patron. Frankie's yeah, the Patron was the one that fuck that guy.
Yeah, Frankie just got mad because I'm whipping beer bottles across the place.
That's right. Yeah. Frankie just got mad because you were beer bottles. That's right. Frankie's managed to keep his mutation kind of under wraps. Like you noticed it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he's since taken to wearing turtleneck sweaters so that nobody can see the little thingamajiggers coming out of the back of his neck. Anyway, you finish your beers, and the time gets away from you. You realize, oh my God, it's like almost 4 a.m. This bar never closes, by the way. It's down by the docks, and there's people coming in and going out at all times. So they just keep it open. Yeah, so they just keep it open. occasionally close it down when Frankie has to go and run some errands or whatever. But he's there all the time. He lives upstairs, and when he's not upstairs, he's down here and the bar's open. Anyway, so you look at your watch and holy shit, it's 4 a.m. And as you're getting ready to leave, you hear a buzz coming through your headset that you guys share. You guys communicate on. It's like you have a two-way radio system
Mhm.
with little earbuds that you wear so you can communicate with one another. And you hear a little crackle and a tweet come through, and you hear a familiar voice. And he says, Templar, Mr. Rott, it's Silver Star. We'd like you two to come to guard headquarters this morning, if you could, please.
This morning.
How early this morning?
As soon as you can. I'm here now, so may as well make your way here whenever you can.
So the crack of noon is what I'm hearing, right?
No, it'll have to be before that. We've got urgent business at around 10 a.m. and it would be beneficial to the guard and beneficial to the community, to the people of Beacon City, if you two were present for this business. And we'd like to brief you prior to this action that we're about to take.
While he's going through that little spiel, Rott's just going to kind of look at Templar and shake his head like, please, God, don't make me go this early in the morning.
You're already up.
No,
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's true.
I'm gonna mute myself so I can just talk to Rott.
Yeah, you guys are in the same room, so you can cover up your mic. Yeah, okay.
At this, and just tell him, look, at this point, it's better to not sleep. Let's just grab a coffee and go.
Fine, but tonight you're taking me back to that church you sleep at, and you're finding me a bed.
Yeah, I can make that work.
All right, so he kind of does the kind of double taps the bar top, and then jumps up. He's like, "All right,
Huddle up.
let's get going." He stretches and starts making his way to the door.
You guys don't know where the headquarters is, so I'll give you vague directions and someone will meet you. Head towards the lighthouse.
The lighthouse. Got it.
Yeah, that's not ominous at all. Okay, well, who are we looking for?
You know what? Let's roll for that. Let me share this real quick. I have two possible people that it could be. So let's roll for that. Uno momento. Present. Share screen. I'm going to boomer it up. Here we go. So I'm going to roll a d20. And 1 to 10, it's one person, and 11 to 20. Excuse me. Mad God has gas. It'll be the other person. All right. 1 to 10. So, the lighthouse is on the coast. Beacon City is inland, probably about 20 miles. But the lighthouse is on the coast. This is roughly what it looks like. It's probably a little darker because it's just around dawn when you guys are heading there. But that being said, how are you getting there? I know, Templar, you can fly. What about you, Mr. Rott? It's still dusk, or it's still pre-dawn, so you could probably find shadows and make your way there. You won't get there as fast as Priest, as Templar, but basically you hop through shadows, and I don't know if I've described it in detail, but basically when you hop through shadows, it's almost a low-grade teleportation. When you're moving through the Shadowverse, you're moving at probably 3 times your normal speed, and you have no weight. You're weightless, and you basically hop from shadow to shadow, or basically you hop from opening in shadow to other opening in shadow. So it's like when you enter in there, you see off in the distance a little shimmer of light indicating where the shadow opens up. The next shadow opens up, and then you hop back and forth between them, and you can move pretty fast. Not as fast as the Templar can fly, but pretty fast.
So I'm gonna say since it's late, they've been out all night. And he's kind of wore out. You know, it's been a long week. So when he sees Templar to kind of start lifting off the ground to go fly, he goes, "Wait, Daddy uppies!" And he puts his hands up to him. He starts like
Daddy uppies.
opening and closing his hands because he just doesn't want to do anything.
That's hilarious.
And Templar goes, fine, and scoops him just under the arms. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you pick him up. You give him the Jetstream and Commander flight lift kind of thing. You guys seen Sky High, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that's what you see. That's what people see when they look up in the sky. They see a guy in a bright white and red leather trench coat carrying a guy with green hair and orange mask and dirty black and red trench coat. I think it is, right?
It was black with like purple pockets and some patches and stuff. And he kind of looks like he's carrying a corpse because as soon as they started moving, he immediately fell asleep.
This is nice. It's nice and relaxing. All right, so you fly towards the lighthouse, and eventually comes into view. Like I said, it's about 20 miles away from downtown Beacon City, but you can't miss it. It's the oldest lighthouse in North America that is still manned, and there is a lighthouse keeper who has been operating this lighthouse for as long as anyone can remember. And as you approach, you see there's a couple of older buildings attached and outbuildings that are roughly the same age as the lighthouse. But then there's a few, looks like utility buildings that have been built by either the city or the state that are obviously newer. They're flat roofed. They have more modern sort of like conduit and things like that. They stand out as being clearly more modern. And as you get closer, you see there's a guy dressed in bright green clothing, chomping on a stogie. His hair is short trimmed. He's wearing like what appears to be like a domino mask. And that gun you see in his hand there, it's not in his hand per se. It's at his hip. But he's scrolling through his phone. And you notice he's not wearing anything on his feet. And he's wearing fingerless gloves and this sort of stealth looking suit that's green and black. And as soon as you get within, say, 20 feet of him, you can tell he's an ornery son of a bitch just by the look on his face. And as you approach and you land there, Templar, and Mr. Rot is shaken awake by the less than gentle landing that you give him. This dude with the ginger hair, I guess you'd call it. He says, "All right, so you're the two probies joining this shit show."
Probies, cute.
All right, let's go. You're what's your name?
They call me Templar.
Is that right? And you, what's your name, pal?
Yamada.
Yamada. You think you're funny? He reaches for his gun. You think you're funny, guy?
I just
I think I'm a riot. And when he says that, you start to see one of the like his hip, like on his hip bone, it starts to like bulge out where there's the start of one of his bone stilettos starting to pop out of his skin.
Yeah, fuck, you're not with the trouble. He goes over to the little utility building door and he stands beneath the frame, and at the top there's one of those little black balls type cameras, and it begins to it changes color and goes blue, and this sort of like cascade of laser light scans in front of the guy in green costume, and you hear a voice ring that says, "Recognize Gecko 04 authorized." And then it scans both of you. "Unknown, not authorized." And Gecko goes, yeah. Override Gecko 04 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
That's
And
pretty
then
good.
the voice says authorized. And the door opens and you're led in. He leads you into this small square room with grated floor. And he says, "Watch your step," and he shuts the door behind you. And another one of these little camera doodad things scans him, and he goes, "Sub basement 1." And then you feel the floor start to move underneath you, and you guys are sinking down into the cliffside beneath the ground. He says, "So what's your deal?" He says to you there, Templar. You like
Deal.
a Knight of the Round Table or some shit?
While they're talking, Rot's gonna yawn real big and just kind of sit down with his back up against the elevator and go back to sleep.
Okay.
And I tell him, "Now, look, I'm just trying to help."
And hey, we all. They call me Gecko on account I can stick the walls. And you travel down a little bit, and it takes about 30 seconds to a minute to reach the bottom, and the door opens up, and you're brought into this underground facility with monitors and computer systems and the like. And you see standing at the entrance to this sort of vestibule that's filled with monitors. You see a familiar person, although he's changed his appearance somewhat. He's since grown a goatee,
He
and
has clothes on.
he has clothes on, and he has antenna, which you saw when you released him from the vat. And he turns to you. "Ah, Templar, Mr. Rod, welcome. Thanks for coming on such short notice."
Yeah, next time you got to give us at least a day.
Yeah, well, things move pretty fast here at the Guard, and there's been a lot of chatter about what's been going on in your neck of the woods. So I think I'd like to bring you up to speed.
Yeah, let's do that, because from on the ground over there, for guys who seem to do things on the fly super fast, nothing's going on. It's just getting worse.
Have
Yeah, I realize.
I was
We
just going to
realize
ask,
that.
in the week that's passed, had we had any more run-ins with the neo-humanists or anything? Like, has anything happened, or has it just kind of been the basic, normal stuff that we would have been dealing with?
Okay, so from your knowledge, you've seen that the community has grown. More and more people are coming daily, um, and more people with powers seem to be appearing as well. And yeah, things aren't getting worse in terms of violence, but more non-mutated people are coming as well because they know that Cynthia Hawkins has this healing touch, and so people are sort of viewing her as kind of like a Jesus type figure because she can heal people with her touch.
Oh, that's
And
probably not good.
she feels, and the weird thing is she feels compelled to do it. You've noticed as
Mhm.
you've been popping by, as she goes to heal people, it's almost like she has an innate knowledge of what the problem is, and she goes directly to that site of that injury or whatever, and she touches and heals. And it's almost like she gets something out of it. She not only a feeling of satisfaction, but it's almost as though it gives her sort of strength or sustenance. She's benefiting from doing these acts.
Hmm.
And her mother, of course, can't stop singing her praises, telling her that she's a gift from God and all that, right? So anyway, um, Silver Star says it's been difficult. The CDC's been dragging their feet, almost like they're stalling on purpose. But federal agencies, we have a little bit more latitude, being extra governmental, and we've been working closely with the Barnes Institute's virology lab. Here's what we found out, and this is strictly between you and I, and anybody else in the Guard. They all seem to know as well. We have no real secrets among ourselves, but the virus takes 12 to 16 hours to incubate. During that time, the symptoms are bad breath and a sweet taste in the mouth, which is inexplicable, and a slightly elevated body temperature, not approaching fever, but warmer. It only lasts 12 to 16 hours. In the last hour, the symptoms abate, and the mutation takes effect. once the virus has run its course, they are no longer infectious. They're no longer contagious. With the exception of about 10% of those who become infected, they become what's known as legacy carriers. Meaning, even though the mutations run its course, even though they're no longer symptomatic, they still carry the virus and can still infect. But the vast majority of the population of the infected do not carry the virus after mutation completes. Make sense?
Jeez. Yeah, but this thing is going to be like herpes.
Well, yes.
Everyone's going to have it, and only the asymptomatic can pass it.
Is there any way to tell who's a legacy carrier and who's just a regular infected?
Well, see,
He starts
that's where
feeling
the
his
action,
forehead and checking his own temperature as he's saying that.
that's where the action comes in. We're going to be deploying to the community known as Bugtown with members of the virology labs at the Barnes Institute to offer the residents there the opportunity to give blood samples. We can test the blood to see if the platelets contain the virus. If the platelets contain the virus, then people will be considered legacy carriers. And we'd like to find out definitive numbers because this 10% figure we're going on is based on our very limited access to patients. But
You're guessing.
with a high
You're
high
guessing.
concentration in Bugtown, we can narrow that number down to, is it 8%, 7%, or is it 12 or 13%?
I like where your head's at, but these people aren't going to appreciate a bunch of outsiders just rolling in on them.
Yeah, they're gonna kick your ass if you.
That's why we've brought you in. You have a relationship with these people. Plus, I don't know if you've noticed or not. He points to his antenna on his head. I'm not just the president. I'm also a client, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm infected as well.
I was wondering
I'm a
if
mutant
those
as
are new.
well. What's that? Sorry.
I was wondering if those are new.
Yes, this was a result of the experimentation that happened upon me at that clandestine lab that you helped uncover.
Would you be one of the people that's going down to try to get these blood samples?
Yes, I'll be joining Dr. Cho from the Barnes Institute, and this will be strictly voluntary. Nobody is going to be forced to give their blood, but if they want to, then it would really help us out if we could get, 100% compliance, but we'll take what we can get.
What time frame were you trying to work with to get down there and do it? And he's all of a sudden like really serious because the gears are turning in his head.
We're aiming for 10 a.m.
Today?
Yes.
Okay, look. It's you're going to have to give us a little bit of time. We can make it easier for you. We can go talk to Cynthia and a few other people that we have a good relationship with. But today is not that early in the morning is not going to work. We haven't slept. Things have been kind of on eggshells down there a little bit since the neo-humanist attack, and any outsiders that show up unannounced and it's going to end bad. It doesn't matter if you're the guard or not.
Well,
Hear me out.
Go ahead.
Not far from Bugtown, there's a church, St. Timothy's. You set up there while we go to Bugtown. And if it's as voluntary as you say it is, we'll walk people over. We'll set up a tent with some, maybe make some sandwiches or something to help draw people in. But they come of their own accord. You don't go to them.
That was the plan. We don't want to force anyone. We're offering the test to anyone who wants to get involved. They don't even have to give their name. We'll give them a code. They go to the website, and they can check their results in 24 hours.
All right, St. Timothy's, not far from Bugtown. There's a priest by the name of Delgado with an Irish accent. Can't miss him.
Does he have an Irish accent?
Yeah, that's what I think you had slid into Irish.
I thought I was just trying to make him sound.
That's dope.
I was trying to make him sound just kind of like soft spoken. I didn't know if I'd given him an Irish accent or not. Anyway, Irish, Italian, what's the fucking difference? Anyway, Father Delgado, appreciate your assistance in this, gentlemen. And before we go, let's help you out here. And he gives you guys each this little comm device. It's small and square, about the size of what used to be known as a pager. It's got a small, like 4-inch AMOLED screen on it with the Guards logo. He says this will give you access to most government facilities in Beacon City. You just have to flash this badge. Let them know you're acting on behalf of the Guard, and generally people will help you out. It'll also give you access to some private institutions. For instance, the Barnes Institute, we work closely with them. Sullivan Systems, they'll help you out. But yeah, it'll help in your efforts with what you do in Beacon City. And we'll get your DNA scanned into our security system. So
No,
if
thank
you ever
you.
need to come here again, you'll have
No.
access. You won't have
No,
to deal
thank
with that Gecko fellow. He's a bit of an asshole.
No, thank you.
What do you mean? No, thank you.
No one's getting my DNA, man.
Yeah, I have to say I'm with Templar on this one.
All right, then you'll have to deal with the Gecko or one of the other yahoos that will greet you at the door every time you come.
That's fine. Me and Gecko are buddies now. And he kind of looks over at him and grins at him.
What the fuck are you looking at?
You mutta.
Yeah, I'll give you your mudda. His hand goes towards his gun. He's like, fuck it, you're not worth it. And he keeps walking.
His hand's on his hip, but the bulge hasn't started. He's like, I like this guy.
I had a completely different design for him, and I'm like, you know what? He's a gecko. I'm making him barefoot. And then I saw the different hair options, and I'm like, I'm gonna make him look like Bill Burr. So I turned him into Bill Burr with fucking sticky feet.
Yeah.
Anyway, so okay, Silver Star thanks you and sends you on your way and says, okay, we'll meet you at St. Timothy's at 10 a.m. So that gives you a few hours then to go and let people know what the skinny is.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, Rot, I'm ready to go if you are.
Yeah, let's get out of here. And he's like he looks at him like he's getting ready to do the daddy uppies thing again, and then he just kind of like, you know what? I'm just too tired to be funny anymore.
All right, so you guys ride the elevator back up. You get out onto the cliff face and make your way back into Beacon City. Your flying's getting better there, Templar. You managed to close the distance in like less than 2 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, and your helmet protects you, but unfortunately the mask doesn't protect Mr. Rot. So when he finally lands, his teeth are full of bugs, and and his hair is full of like detritus and dust and shit. Anyway, you find yourself back in the squalor that is the lower east side equivalent in Beacon City, and you make your way. I'm assuming you're going to go to Bugtown, or are you going to go to
Yes.
St. Timothy's, or?
Yeah, but yeah, no, Delgado will understand.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say we could split up, and he could go speak to Delgado, and I could go to Bugtown and kind of talk to the people there.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll start with you there, Edwin Templar.
Yeah.
You head over to. You're going to change your civvies before you enter St. Timothy's?
No, we're doing this.
You got to explain it as a member of the Guard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you land out in the front steps of St. Timothy's, this old church that's been around for a long time in this area of California, and you go up the steps and you enter the front door, or do you enter the side door? I don't know how you want to go in, but
front door. It's got to look kind of official and not so comfortable because my alter ego is staying there.
Right. True enough. So you go through the front door, and the church is largely empty. It's a weekday morning. You see a few elderly widows in the pews, you know, shuffling their beads and praying quietly to themselves. And before long, you see Father Delgado comes out from behind the dais, and he's kind of surprised to see you with your mask and your white coat. And he says, "May I help you?"
So I lay it out for him, Father Delgado, we're on behalf of the guard. They want to set up this blood testing area. We don't want it to be too much pressure on the people of Bugtown. We'd really like to use your church, make some sandwiches and whatnot, draw people in just for the day. It's a middle of a weekday, right?
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, those poor people in Bugtown, of course, they need all the help they can get. I'll have Mrs. Francine come and help make some sandwiches, and we'll get the coffee going. Okay?
Perfect. I'll help with whatever setup you need.
We could need some chairs set up, actually. That'd be helpful, and some tables. We're going to use the basement auditorium. Here, I'll lead you there.
Perfect.
And he shows you the basement auditorium. So, what do they call you then, sir?
They call me Templar.
Oh, I've heard about you. People are talking about you in the neighborhood.
I deny
I have to say, I like the iconography.
Yeah, well, we all have our biases.
All right, well, I'll leave you to it. If you could just set up, I don't know, perhaps a few hundred chairs and some tables.
It's always
And like I said, I have Mrs. Francine set up the coffee and get to work on making some sandwiches.
I'm just grumbling about it's always the bloody chairs.
I beg your pardon?
Nothing, Father.
Okay. All right. We'll cut to you, Mr. Rott. So you find yourself at the entrance to Bugtown. One moment here. You see Cynthia's caravan there, and people are bleary-eyed and coming out of the tents and shelters that have been erected here in this little overpass community. And you're as Mr. Rott currently, yeah?
Yeah, it's like Irving said, since we're doing this on behalf of the guard, he's going to show up, in costume.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you see a few people milling about. You spy what's his name? Oh, I didn't add them. One sec here. One moment. Damn it.
Oh.
So can I try to find Cynthia? I think that would be the first thing I'd do.
Sure.
Just speak to her about the whole situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll find Cynthia. She is just inside her trailer. The trailer seems closed up. She's probably going to be inside her camper van.
So he's gonna walk up and knock on the door and try to see if she's awake yet or not.
Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. And one moment, I'm just going to add another image file here.
While you're adding the image, I want to ask about.
Oops, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Thing.
I just want to
ask
about
the albino Sasquatch guy.
Yeah, that's right, Gust. Yeah.
The pager badge thingy. It's clippable, yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
designed for being worn on a uniform or an outfit or whatever. Yeah.
I've just clipped it on my belt like an old school pager, so I can just pull the coat aside, flash the badge.
Got it. Cool. Okay. So you tap on the door there, Mr. Rott, and you let me get that image back up one moment. Where is it? And Mrs. Hawkins steps out. He's like, "Oh my, you're Cynthia's friend. You're the one who saved her."
Yeah, how have you been, Miss Hawkins?
Been doing all right, all things considered. No lineup today. Last few days there's been a lineup at the trailer in the morning. People wishing to be healed.
Yeah, I've seen. Cynthia's been doing some good work. Is she awake at the moment?
Yes, she's just finishing breakfast. Cynthia, you have a guest.
And
she comes to the door
real quick. He's gonna kind of. He's just gonna be like, would it be okay if I stepped inside to speak with you and her and your husband privately?
I suppose, sure. She lets you in, and you see that they're living pretty good life here in the trailer. It's an older model, but they keep it clean and well organized. Um, a lot of canned food, prepared food, or not prepared food, like boxed food, like cereals and cans of soup and that sort of stuff. Um, you see the back area is closed. That's obviously where the husband is. You don't see him in view. Cynthia's just getting up from the table and putting her dishes in the sink. A bit of milk from her Cheerios is dripping down her face. She goes, "Mr. Rott, great to see you."
Hey, how's it going, Cynthia? And he's gonna take a seat on a couch or maybe at the dining room, little breakfast
A
nook or
little
whatever
little
with her.
little banquet thing. Yeah, just have a
Yeah,
seat. They
and he's
welcome.
gonna when he sits down, he's just gonna sigh a little bit and he's gonna pull his mask off because they already know who he is.
Yeah. Well, she does anyway, and I guess the other people would know obviously as well. So
Yeah, and when he does, he's just kind of gonna give kind of a glance, like a sheepish look at her parents, just to kind of see how they react to seeing his true identity or whatever.
well, they don't know you. I mean, they might have seen you around, but they don't really know you apart from, like, it's not like, oh my God, it's Bruce Wayne. You're just a guy with green hair as far as they're concerned.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How have you been, Cynthia?
I'm doing all right. Been busy. I'm really busy between doing schoolwork and helping the injured and the sick. So it's been really, really busy, but it feels good. I like doing it. She's very happy about her gifts in that respect.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're finding joy in your work. It's actually kind of why I'm here. And he's gonna take the badge and kind of sit it on the table. And I got tapped by the guard. They think they might be able to help some of our people.
Mrs.
But they
Hawkins,
want
like, here she starts to beam. She's like, "Really, the guard?" And first she's impressed, and then she's like, "They can help. They can cure my little girl."
well, I don't know about curing your little girl. They have some science mumbo jumbo about carriers and infections, and basically they want me to try to get as many people from Bugtown to come voluntarily to St. Timothy's to give blood to test it so they can get a better jump on the process of trying to help people, and your daughter included.
Well, Cynthia doesn't know what to think. She's looking to her mother for an answer, and she Mrs. Hawkins says, "The guard's doing this? Is there anyone else involved? Is it the CDC or anyone else?"
And he just kind of chuckles a little bit and he's like, the CDC. If they were involved, I would have just told them to fuck off. No. As far as I know, it's just the guard. And what was the name of the company he said was
The Barnes Institute.
in the Barnes Institute?
The Barnes Institute. Mrs. Hawkins gets a sort of grave look on her face, and as she says that, Mr. Hawkins comes out from the back, pulling a shirt on. He's like, "Who said a Barnes Institute?"
And he just kind of looks over and raises his hand.
He's like, "Those assholes are the ones responsible. I put my money on it, and I don't have a lot of money."
Well, what makes you think that?
It's all over the news. Come on. Eric Cross, he's convinced. And I got to say, as much as I don't like the guy, he's probably right. They're doing all that freaky science up there at that institute. Who the hell knows? But if anyone's going to develop a bioweapon, it's probably them. You think it's an accident that this thing happens here in Beacon City, right where the Barnes Institute is operating?
You do kind of make a good point. I haven't heard about any of this happening anywhere else in the country. Huh.
Yeah, Beacon City has been sort of ground zero for this. It is spreading, but yeah, it's concentrated mainly here because, one, it's a very short incubation period for the virus, and two, yeah, it got its start here. Now you know for a fact it wasn't the Barnes Institute that the virus was being worked on at that clandestine lab, which has now been abandoned.
Yeah,
But
but we never really did
you
figure
don't
out
know. Maybe the
who was
Barnes
doing it. It could be them. We don't know.
right. You don't know. All you know is that you know where the lab was. And it wasn't the Barnes Institute. It was another lab. But you're right. They could be involved. Could be like a shell, like a what do you call
So he's
it?
gonna
Once
kind of like
removed kind of situation. Yeah, you're not sure.
he's gonna close his eyes and kind of rub the bridge of his nose. You know, like pinch the bridge of his nose between his fingers. It's like, look,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're involved or not, unless you have some kind of proof or evidence that they're involved. That's not just speculation and opinion. That's not much I can go on. What I can tell you is that me, my partner, will be there observing the process along with other members of the guard. And if we see anything fishy, we'll put a stop to it as quick as we can. Also, I don't know if, and he kind of looks at Cynthia. He's like, I don't know if you remember the big metal fella with the antennas that was in the pods with you guys, with you and the other lady.
Silver Star. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there. He's actually the one that contacted us. So that's the most reassurance I can have, but I do need your help because you know these people. They're not going to just walk down the block together like, you know, a pack of weirdos and go do this voluntarily. It's going to take some convincing.
Okay. Well, Mr. Hawkins and Mrs. Hawkins, they look at each other and they look at Cynthia and they're like, we'll need to discuss this as a family. But and then Cynthia goes, I'm just a kid. No one's going to listen to me. I mean, yeah, I can heal people, but I mean, you're the hero. Maybe
Cynthia, I'm not a hero. I'm just doing what I think I need to be doing to look out for my friends.
She goes,
you have been helping these people ever since we found you in that lab. They'll listen to you.
She kind of like lowers her chin and she's like, well, you're my hero.
And he's going to kind of like, he's going to try really hard not to grin, but he can't help it. And he's going to turn a little red and he's like, well, thank you. That actually means a lot.
And Mr. Hawkins says, look, you know, you do what you got to do, what you think you got to do. That's fine. We're going to talk about it. Maybe we'll go, but you know, she's been through a lot and I don't want to put her through anything more.
I understand.
The family have been
and
through a lot. And Mrs. Hawkins just is kind of like letting her husband speak and being quiet about it.
And he says, I understand. Just they're setting it up now. They're going to get started. I believe he said 10 a.m., right?
Yeah.
By 10 a.m. I'm going to go, I guess, and talk to a few other people. You guys discuss it. And if you feel like you can help, if it's something you want to help with, thank you. If not, I get it. I understand. Everything's been crazy the past month for all of us. Between this and the attack and everything else, I understand. I get why you wouldn't want to just dive right into this.
Thank you for considering our feelings. And like I said, we'll discuss it as a family. And then they leave a pregnant pause, almost as if to say, I think it's time you left, Mr. Rott, but they don't say it, obviously.
Yep. And he's just gonna stand up and he's gonna kind of nod to Mr. Hawkins and Mrs. Hawkins, and he's gonna put his hand out for a fist bump from Cynthia.
And she gives you a fist bump with her long, gangly finger bent over.
And he's gonna turn around and
she gives you like a polite little smile, and
he just kind of grins at her. He's gonna turn around and walk out the door and throw up a peace sign behind his back. You know, he's not gonna look back because he's too much of a badass for that. So he's just gonna throw up a peace sign and walk out the door, and then we can kind of like speed through the next process. He would just be walking, you know, obviously put his mask back on. He still wants to do this in costume. He's got the badge and everything. Yeah. He's just kind of speaking to people that he would have seen, you know.
No, hold up. Can we say that with a scarily cinematic direction of perfect timing, I've finished my duties and have just made my way to Bugtown?
Why don't we do that? As you finish your conversation with the Hawkins family and you make your way out into Bugtown proper, your compatriot, the Templar, softly lands on the tarmac and gravel directly in front of you. People have come out of their shelters and are like kind of milling about and getting ready to start their day. You see a guy, he's got a Coleman grill out and he's starting to cook himself some eggs and bacon. A few people are gathering around with paper plates and such. And you see a guy who is unfamiliar to you. You haven't seen him before, but he's got a very striking appearance. No eye or no nose or no mouth, just a couple little slits where his nose would be. And he's got a pinkish purpley skin, dark hair, and red eyes. And as soon as you see him, you hear a voice in your head, and it says, "Good morning."
I just shake that one off.
You both hear it.
Yeah,
Rot's like spinning around, trying to figure out where this voice is coming from.
He
Freaked him out a little bit.
He raises his hand, and you see where there would be a mouth. He's trying to smile, so his cheeks kind of come up. Good morning.
Give him a nod.
He says, "You're the Templar, aren't you?" He's not speaking. You're hearing this in your head. And you're Mr. Rod. You're famous here. People really, really like you.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Can I get an autograph?
Sure. You got a pen?
Yeah. And he reaches in his pants pocket for a bic and finds a scrap of paper in his back pocket. He says, "Make it out to Rajiv."
And he's just going to write Mr. Rod really big on the back of his hand.
On the back of this guy's hand?
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of surprised by what you're doing. He's like, "Oh, thank you. And you, sir, would you sign my paper this time, Mr. Templar?"
Sure.
He says, Make it out to your good friend, Whisper."
I say, "You got it." And then I just 2 lines, draw a cross on the paper.
Thank you so much, Mr. Templar. Have yourself a blessed day. And he goes about his own business. He moves amongst the crowd, and you notice he's not eating. He's just sort of hanging around the other groups of people. Some people, even though they're all a little bit freakish, are a little turned off by him because he's got no mouth and he's got like not really much of a nose either, and he doesn't speak. He speaks in their head, and it can be a little bit off-putting. But that's the deal with Mr. Whisper, or the what he calls himself, Whisper.
I like that Templar and Rot have already dealt with like mutant bug monkeys and like all this other weird shit that they're just totally not fazed by it.
Yeah. Well, the people here in this town, some of them have more profound mutations than others. This and Pitch are probably the two most profound mutations you've seen, as well as I guess Gust. They've all got kind of profound mutations. But as you make your way around and people overhear you talking to one group or another about what the Guard and Barnes Institute want to do, it sparks up a conversation, and people begin to gather in a group, and you realize that this is going to go a lot easier if you just kind of make one big speech to everybody.
Well, hold on. Before we make a big speech, I'd like to actually look for Pitch and Gust.
Okay, yeah, they make themselves known. They eventually show up.
Okay, good. Because
but I can't share both of them. But say Pitch is the leader of the two, and so
yeah, it seemed to be. But
yeah, he comes over and does a stretchy fist bump to you there, Templar, and it sticks to your glove and then comes loose. It's like, "Yo, Templar, good to see you, man."
You too, Pitch. How's Tricks?
Things are going pretty good. I see you met Whisper.
Interesting character.
Yeah, he's kind of our PA system.
Oh, he can do that en masse.
Yeah.
And what can he hear?
Well,
never mind that for now. Never mind that. That's not why we're here.
Rod hears this and he kind of looks at Whisper and he just starts thinking about ABBA songs, like directly at him.
Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, I gotta
Wicked.
cough 1 second here.
Okay, so while you're coughing, we just lay it out for Pitch and Gust, right? What's going on, how we've decided to handle it. St. Timothy's, do you guys want to maybe talk to your people about it? Because, they know we've helped them out. We fought together in the neo-humanist wars. So he knows that, we're legit. And I hope he does. I hope he knows that at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a shot, says Pitch. Yeah, I'm sure we could talk to them, but so this is the guards doing this and the Barnes Institute.
Yeah, the Barnes Institute may be a little hitch. I spoke with Cynthia and her parents, and yeah, they're not really liked down here too much, from what I gather.
I got nothing against them, I guess. I mean, Sullivan Barnes is pretty cool, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'll tell everybody, let them know. But and then people start congregating. Tell us what, blah 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 blah. He says, "All right, listen up, people," and he starts making a speech. So it looks like the Guard and the Barnes Institute, they want to take blood samples from us, but it's on a strictly voluntary basis. And if people start hollering and blah 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 and say Barnes Institute, some of them say that. So it's like, shut up, you asshole! Why we were not going to get involved with Barnes Institute? They're a bunch of weirdos and freaks, and they probably did all this. And the same sort of fear mongering rumor mill stuff that's been intimated to you by Mr. Hawkins. And then you hear this loud booming voice in your ears, and everybody hears it at the same time, and it's Whisper, and he goes, "Everyone, be quiet and listen." And then Pitch says, "Thanks, Whisper," and he goes on and tells what it is, and he says, "Hey, any more guys? Can you give any more clarification or explanation?"
Oh, I mean, not much. Like we give them what information we have, which is better than nothing. But
Yeah, all we really know is that it's the Guard and the Barnes Institute, and it's voluntary and where it's at.
yeah, we told them
Make
the
sure to
same-
mention that there's sandwiches and coffee.
A couple people go, "Sandwiches, coffee." There's a little bit of murmur in the crowd. Free sandwiches. Hey, what
We
free
also-
sandwiches, yeah.
we also tell them, the symptoms and how it spreads. What that we seem to know that. Thank God it's not airborne.
Yeah.
And then I give Pitch the old politician lean in whisper.
Yeah.
Maybe if you and Gust volunteered, that might help. No pressure.
And Pitch goes, maybe Gus will. And there's no point in me volunteering. I don't have blood anymore. I'm just this gooey stuff.
Can they
My
have
blood
a
is
sample of
oil.
it? But can they have a sample of it? Just a
Uh,
little, just a drop or two, I'm sure.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'll go down there with him, but Gus, what do you think? You want to go? And Gus kind of gives it a thought. He's like, "Oh, I was a scientist before this, so yeah, why not? I'd be interested to find out what they know."
Oh, we'll tell the Guard about that. All right. Maybe you can even help directly.
My field's not in genetics or biology.
Hmm.
I'm a quantum physicist.
Awesome.
And then he looks at, but my hands, these hands, they're no good for science anymore. Anyway, okay, so you make your appeal to the people of Bugtown, and you've got things set up at St. Timothy's. You gonna make your way over there, or escort some people, or lead a little what do you call it, parade there, or march?
No,
Place,
no. They can be relaxed. I'm just gonna beeline myself back to be able to hand out sandwiches.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And Rot's gonna go and knock on the door and check on the Hawkins family before he takes off. Let them know that we spoke to the people, and if you were going down, and if they would want to go with us, if Cynthia would want to go, that he would escort her.
Thanks, Mr. Rao. You might see us there.
Okay, well, take care, and I guess I'll catch up with you guys later. And he just kind of turns around and starts making his way. I would say he'd probably walk with Gust and
Pitch.
Pitch. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as the group of people, at first they go in little small throngs. From some people go along with you and Pitch and Gust, and then another group of people will go a few minutes later, kind of thing. Some people are just they seem completely disinterested and are just sort of sitting around. I'm gonna see how well you were able to convince this group of people. So why don't we make a roll and see what you were able to do. All right, you guys can see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make it a DC 14 because there's a good number of them that are kind of like wary of the whole situation.
For sure.
So I'm going to roll for you, Templar. And let's say there's a community of about 150 people in Bugtown at this point. And on a success, you'll have successfully convinced roughly half.
Half, that's really good.
Okay. And on a fail, it's probably a third.
Okay, wait, don't roll. I want to check in with the guard at the church. Are they set up and ready to go?
Yeah, let's say it's close to 10, and you get a buzz from, or you pick up your little pager thing, and you realize it's also got a two-way communicator in it, and you see on the screen, what's his name, Silver Star. His face shows up and says, "What?"
Silver Star. We've talked to the people of Bugtown. I just wanted to know how it's going at the church. Are we ready?
Yeah, we should be good to go here. We've got two people from the Barnes Institute ready to take blood. Should be pretty quick. Each patient will be probably about 2 or 3 minutes. We'll get them informed on the app, and they can find out the results, like I said, in 24 hours.
All right. You might get a few. More than that'll be a miracle. Okay, now roll.
Okay. So, what did I say? 14 and above?
Yeah.
14 and above, you get about half. Less than that, maybe a third.
Can we get a +1 since everybody loves me?
Let's see here. You're most famous for causing things to rot. Yeah, either way, the +1's not going to do anything. I think the roll was like a 3, right?
It was a 3.
Yeah. So all said and done, you guys head down that way with your entourage, and you managed to get about 35 people to come. 35, 40 people to come. And
Still,
they sit in the basement auditorium of the St. Timothy's, and they mow down on cucumber and salmon salad sandwiches and have themselves some coffee and some orange drink, and they all give themselves give a little bit of vial of blood, and then the people advise them that they can find out the results of their test by scanning the QR code that they generate for them. And they don't have to use their own phone if they're concerned about being tracked. They can scan it with any phone, and that will give them the results of whether or not they're what's known as a legacy carrier. They explain it in good detail. Most people who walk away from it are like, okay, I kind of feel better about that, knowing whether or not I can spread it. You see one of the women who are part of the community comes, and the funny thing is, first off, she's really pretty. She's got long dark hair, almond eyes, and kind of like an olive complexion. She's Mediterranean or maybe Turkish or something, which I think is Mediterranean. Anyway, she's wearing a long skirt, and she strikes your eye immediately there, Mr. Rott. You're kind of like, boom. Cupid's arrow hits you right in the chest as soon as you see this girl. She's very pretty, and she kind of smiles at you, but you noticed she doesn't look like she's got a mutation. Like her face is perfectly fine. There's nothing coming out of her back or her neck or anything like that. She looks perfectly normal. You're going, what the hell is she doing here? Why is she getting tested? So yeah,
So he's gonna kind of when he sees her, he's kind of gonna puff his chest up a little bit and try to shake off some of the weariness from being up all night. And he's gonna nod to her and he'll say, "Good morning. You here for a service or confession or?"
no, I'm getting tested.
He'll kind of cock his head to the side. Really? What? You don't? Did you come from Bugtown? Are you new? Like,
Yeah, I live in Bugtown.
you don't. I don't mean to be rude, but you don't really look like you came from Bugtown. Come on, where are you from, really?
She kind of blushes a little bit, as much as a person of Mediterranean complexion can. And she's like, I'm Phaedra, and yeah, I got infected, and I have a mutation. It's just not readily apparent now.
What does that mean?
She's like, it's under my clothes. She leans in his face, it's under my clothes.
Oh, so me asking to see what kind of weird mutation you have would be extremely, rude then, right?
Well, it would be inappropriate in a house of God for me to show you.
Oh, okay. Now it's his turn to kind of blush a little bit. And he's like, I'm sorry.
She's like, no problem. You're with the guard? And she's like, kind of like surprised because you don't look like what they normally look like.
Kind of. I'm not. I just kind of got tapped to help with this. I don't know if this is going to turn into a regular gig or not. Me and Templar, we kind of do our own thing. These are our people. We kind of look out for them and make sure that, the drug dealers aren't taking out the homeless and the people that are kind of down on their luck.
And she's like, you're a good person.
It's kind of like, oh, I wouldn't go that far.
She's like, no, really, you are. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? And she walks over to the refreshments table, and she pours herself a coffee and pours you one, and she passes you the cup.
He'll take it and he'll say, "Hey, don't worry about paying for it." And he'll, with his free hand, he'll pull out another $5 and sit it on the table, even though the coffee's free. He's
The coffee's free.
Yeah, he's just trying
She
to.
kind of laughs and she goes, "It's free, like." And Mrs. Francine reaches over and grabs the $5 and she brings it behind the counter and puts it in a little basket. And she says, "God bless you."
St. Timothy's accepts donations.
That's right. Yeah, it's right. Anyway, so Phaedra and you kind of hit it off. She's not taken aback by your quirky looking costume. She's just kind of surprised that you'd be associated with the guard, because their costumes are kind of like well designed and they're made with professional superhero materials and stuff like that, and yours is clearly you made it for Comic-Con kind of thing. And she's like, well, I gotta get going. Thanks for the coffee. Hope to see you around. And he takes off.
Hey, no problem. I hope I see you around too. And if I don't know if you have a phone or not, but if you see me around Bugtown and you need to check your QR code, hit me up. I've got one.
Okay, thanks. Oh, yeah, I guess you guys have smartphones like, or burner phones or something like that.
No,
Yeah,
Templar doesn't.
imagine with the work they do and Mr. Rott being not quite heroic, he would have jacked like a dope boy's phone at some point, or would probably grab a new one nightly if he needed it.
Yeah, there's that. Well, I know you guys have your two-way radio that you communicate with each other on, and now it seems that the guard knows the channel you're on and can pop in anytime they want. But you also have this little communicator that they've issued you that they can reach you on, and you can reach them on if you need to. Silver Star is there amongst everybody, and people know who he is. First off, he's an Air Force war hero from the Gulf War era, and he's a moderately well-known superhero. So people are like asking for his autograph and stuff, and he's happy to give it. And he tells his story about his antenna and blah 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 blah. And all in all, it's been a pretty good showing. Roughly 35 or 40 of the residents of Bugtown. Actually, no, I guess it'd be a little bit less because it said it's about 1/3, and it was about 150 of people. Yeah, so yeah, maybe 50 people or so. I've come by to give their blood and get their little business card with a QR code on it.
It's not a proper sample size, but it's a start.
Well, that's just it. Every little bit of data helps. Plus, you know, it would be good for these people to know if they can carry it, if they can, or if they can pass it on.
So, Silver, what happens if you do find any carriers? What's going to happen?
Well, they'll be informed that they are carriers and be advised of how to protect other people.
How exactly?
Don't have sex or share needles with them.
Oh, Frankie's not going to like hearing that.
I don't know who this Frankie is, but
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Tell him not to have sex or share needles until he gets tested and knows for sure whether or not he's a legacy carrier.
Noted.
Sadly, you don't see Cynthia or her family in all this time. You guys are there helping get these people tested. They don't show up. And kind of disappointing, but you know, they had their reasons, they said. And after about 3 or 4 hours, the people at Barnes Institute pack up, take their samples with them, and head off in their vans towards the Barnes Institute to conduct their research. And Silver Star, he thanks you for your assistance, and says he hopes he can call upon you again. And says keep the communicators. It's the best way to stay in touch. And yeah, and he also tells you they have you can set up sub channels too. So if you want to just use them to communicate with one another and not be.
Does everyone that's in the Guard have their own channel on this thing? And he's kind of turning it over in his hand, looking at it.
Every unit has its own unique IP, and it's
if I wanted
traveled
to
over.
contact a specific member of the Guard, how would I go about doing that? Or is there a way to do that? Or does it connect to like a central command unit? How does this work here?
Edwin, the Templar thinks he catches on and says, "Just leave Gecko alone."
He says, "Oh, if you want to get in touch with a specific member of the Guard, there's an AI that routes all communications. So all you have to do is open it up and ask to speak to a member, and it will connect you if that member is monitoring their unit."
Just leave it rot. Just leave it.
Look, I'll leave it for today, but I'm making no promises about tomorrow. And he'll go ahead and just pocket the badge again. He's exhausted at this point because it's now what? So we started at 10 in 3 hours.
Noon or 1.
Yeah.
All right. So I offer Pox or Mr. Rot the place where I sleep while I start cleaning up the tables, chairs, whatever we set up to take care of this.
All right, sounds good. So you make arrangements with Father Delgado. What did I say his name was? Nick? Nick or
Yeah.
Rick? I think it was Nick.
Nick, yeah.
I was gonna say he doesn't know that Edwin is Templar, right? So
not the Templar or Edwin is aware of.
Not yet.
So I would assume they may, like, after everybody cleared out and the coast was clear, they would have found a spot to kind of change into their civvies and stuff.
Yeah. There's like a couple of washrooms in the church itself, and there's places for you to change. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So Donnie, as soon as he hits the bed, man, he's just out, like snoring loud as hell, obnoxiously, just sprawled out.
Okay, sounds good. And Templar in full costume, you use your super strength and flying ability to stack the chairs and break down the tables and help Mrs. Francine clean the dishes, clean the coffee canisters and
I even
take.
sweep the floors. Okay.
Oh wow, you're her favorite superhero now. And she says, "Thank you, Mr. Templar. You're just a wonderful, wonderful man."
Well, we owe the church a lot, so this was a big favor for us and for them.
Well, blessings upon you, and hopefully some good comes of it. I feel so sorry for those souls.
We're doing what we can.
All right. So Mr. Rock goes to sleep. Templar takes you about 20, 30 minutes for you to clear everything up. Silver Star has left. The Barnes Institute scientists have left. And you are alone with your thoughts. And you've got the rest of the day to yourself. Uh, Apart from being superhuman, you do tire from time to time, even though you
Hmm.
have super strength and durability. Eventually, you start to get tired.
All right. I find another less comfortable place because I gave Rot my place to sleep.
Yeah.
And yeah,
He's getting his funk all over it too.
It's a vinyl couch in the lounge area upstairs. That's where the local staff kind of congregate to eat their lunches and have meetings and stuff like that. And during the day, it's not very busy. But people come in from time to time, so eventually you'll hear the door creak open and someone will come in and get something out of the fridge and that kind of thing.
and that's going to be a really awkward time for them to walk in on a dude in a homeless dude in an orange mask, splayed
No,
out,
he's switched out of his mask. Now he's just Don McLean.
and
Donald McLean.
and the Templar finding a chair that he fits in and just slumping into it and napping, sitting upright.
In full costume.
Yep.
Okay, so the Templar takes a nap in full costume. And all right, sounds good. We're gonna cut to Mr. Rot then. Mr. Rot, as you sleep, you gave me an out. You're sleeping, so I'm gonna go through a dream sequence here. Okay.
See, but this is the
Let's
point.
do it.
In the video game, this is where you would have the save point and cutscene.
There you go. This is for a video game. This would be a save point. You'd see the little wheel at the bottom saying saving, and then there'd be a cutscene. You're a little boy and you're in a bed and you're burning up with fever. And you see at the foot of your bed is your father, as you remember him when you were young. And he's praying. He's on his hands and knees and he's praying, Heavenly Father, please protect my boy Donnie. He's the best thing I've ever done. I'll do anything. I'll give you anything. Just save his soul. Let him live. I spent all my money on medicine and doctors, and I've got nothing left. All I've got is my prayers. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, Mary, anyone who'll listen, I'll do anything you ask. I'll give up the drink. I'll give up the whoring. Just let my boy live. Protect his life and protect his soul. And you heard your father make that prayer, and it's almost as though it was a miracle, because at that point your fever broke, and you remember letting out a big cough with some nasty phlegm in it, and you woke up and you felt immediately better. And your father kept his word. He took you then to America, flew on a plane, one-way ticket from Edinburgh to California, and you began your life out here on the west coast of the United States. And your father kept his word. He didn't touch another drop of alcohol as long as he lived. And he found a nice woman to settle down with, who you eventually came to call your mother. And then in your 18th year, you remember the tragedy of losing both your mother and your father in a terrible car crash, and you were the only one who survived. Since you were too old to be involved in the foster system, you were basically left on your own. And one thing led to another, and you found yourself homeless on the street. And you'll never forget the sacrifice your father made for you to live. But you feel guilty every time you have a sip of drink, and every time you engage in a bit of debauchery. You think about what your father gave up just to save your life and save your soul. And you swallow it down and you drink anyway, because that's just what life is like when you're living on the streets.
Because that's just that Catholic guilt, man.
There you go. It's your Catholic guilt. And then you wake up and your mouth is dry and you're sitting. There's a puddle of drool on the vinyl couch as you wake up, and you feel somewhat refreshed.
I thought I was in a bed.
No, you're on a vinyl couch. It's in a lounge. That's where Edwin Priest sleeps.
Okay.
He'll
just kind of he'll sit up and he's just kind of sitting there with his head in his hands, kind of between his knees, replaying the dream over in his head a little bit while he's kind of shaking off sleep.
Yeah, it was nice to see your father's face again, but not long after you wake up, the memory of it kind of fades away, and now it's just it's distant. You haven't seen him since you were a kid. Since you were 18, I guess. How old is Mr. Rott now? I'm assuming he's like in his late 20s, early 30s or something.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. Probably about somewhere between 20 and 30. Let's say 29. 29.
Okay, so it's been like more than a decade since you lost your father and your mother in a terrible car crash. And since then, it's your life's been pretty rough, but you've been more or less lucky. Maybe God is really looking out for you. And Templar, you wake up, you don't remember your dream.
Sucks to suck.
Sorry, man. I had one idea in my head for a flashback, and I figured out, I'm going to give it to Rott. So, you guys wake up probably, let's say it's around 6 p.m. People in the church have sort of left for the day. They do their clerical work during the day. The priest has gone back to his rectory building, just an outbuilding off on the church property. And you guys are alone in the church as things wind to a close.
All right, let's take stock here. Guards come in promising at least forward research with blood samples.
Right.
Okay. Supposedly anonymous.
Yes, that's what they said, that you can check the results yourself by scanning they gave everybody a unique QR code that was linked to their test results, and if they scan it with a mobile device, it doesn't matter what mobile device you use, it'll take them to the results. So that way, if they can use a burner phone with a camera enabled, or they can use someone else's phone if they don't want to be linked to them. That's what they were told.
All right, so
did you guys get tested? You guys aren't mutated, no. But I don't know if you wanted to be tested.
No, I'm gonna try to not give anyone any kind of biological matter. Okay. I have no idea.
Yeah, Rott's under the same mindset then.
But it's a safety issue as well as a paranoia issue. I have no idea who or what I am. Right. I just have these powers. So no, I'm not giving anyone anything because it could be dangerous.
Fair enough.
I just don't trust anybody with more than $5 in their wallet outside of Templar.
Your $5 Donnie. Okay, cool.
Who occasionally has more than $5, but just occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Good.
So we should go back to Bugtown and stir up some of the, ooh, look, it went really smoothly, right? Maybe they are just trying to help kind of thing. That's my
Right.
suggestion here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Try and gauge how people felt about it, and you notice that Pitch tried to give blood, but they couldn't take any. Gust gave blood. What's his name? Steven
Sass.
Sask. Yeah, he gave his blood, and he was talking to some of the scientists there, and mentioned that he was a quantum physicist, and you overheard their conversation a little bit. And when he left, he was actually pretty hopeful. And he let slip. He's like, they invited me to come to the Barnes Institute to work with them.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah,
he's a highly published and referenced quantum physicist, Steve Sask. And he's actually buoyed by the whole experience. He's like, cool, I can go back there, and I can go back to my life of scientific research to a degree. So yeah, he's very happy about that. So you go back to Bugtown and make your way in and amongst the people there, and they're getting along, doing their business, that kind of thing. You see Pitch and Phaedra and Whisper, all sort of they're sort of like hanging around together near one of the shelters, and they're in discussion. And Phaedra holds up her phone. She's like, "Oh, I got my results."
okay, yeah. Well, that's private information, so I'm not going to ask her for it.
No.
Oh, Mr. Rod is. So what's it say? What's it say?
And she's like, "That's my business. Thank you very much." She just kind of smiles at you, but she's keeping it close to her chest.
Hey, okay, I get it. Just let me know later after you've thought about it. Huh?
Are you asking me out on a date?
And he just kind of was like just stunned silence. He wasn't really thinking about what he was saying, and he goes, "Yes, I am."
She kind of laughs. She says, "Relax, I'm just joking." Yeah, we could do something sometime, I guess. And then she says, "I gotta talk to my friend Pitch though." And
Her friend what?
Pitch.
Oh, okay.
So her and Pitch go into one of the Connex boxes, and they have their own little private discussion.
And
yeah, sorry.
yeah, Templar says to Rot, "Is it worth the risk?"
I'll let you know in a week, I think. He just kind of grins really big.
You're lucky you can't see the look on my face.
I mean, you could take the helmet off, Bucket Boy.
Just shakes no.
Always the stick in the mud.
All right. So yeah, people are just sort of going about their business. Things are progressing normally, and yeah, the day goes on without much event or anything happening here in Bugtown. People are just sort of living their lives as best they can, being a bunch of mutated freaks. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Templar is going to take a conscious eyeballing of over this time period, if any, and how many people seem to be arriving. Right?
Oh, in a given day.
Yeah, like who seems to be new that I didn't see yesterday, and if anybody new like is actually like you can see them coming in.
I see. Well, Whisper is new from the last time you were here, as well as Phaedra. You've seen a couple of more people come in with various mutations, but probably since the last time you were here, and not counting today, there's probably been about a little less than 24, maybe 20 people or so. So last week, about 20 people have showed up.
So is that what put us up to that 150
Yeah.
rough estimate, or is that 20
Yeah,
more
that,
people?
that 20 people brought you up to the roughly 150. When you first came by here, like last week, and first met it was probably about just under 100. So
Okay.
yeah. So over the course of the last 2 weeks, 'cause let's say it's been about 2 weeks since you first walked in here, was yeah, but about 50 more people have shown up.
So, okay. Should we check in with the guard then?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I kind of want to pick their brain. Now that we've helped them, they can help us, and we can see if they have any more information on these neo-humanist assholes.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of want to do some digging into the Barnes Institute. When I was talking to the Hawkins family earlier, Mr. Hawkins seemed pretty convinced that they might have a hand in that lab that we fucked up a few weeks ago.
Okay. So is that what you want to do? You want to get
He was saying that to Templar.
Oh, yeah. So, which should we do first? Right, there hasn't been a neo-humanist attack this week, right? Just that last time.
After that attack where you guys were there, they haven't come back.
So maybe they can wait, and we'll look into the Barnes Institute first. We have these things that get us into some cool places, right?
True.
What are the cool places?
That is true. I could cause a lot of mischief with this thing.
Barnes Institute is one of them. Barnes Institute works closely with the Guard, so yeah, you could definitely go to the Barnes Institute. Sullivan Systems, also, they're one of the bigger contractors with the United States military and the federal government, and they also supply most of the hardware for the Guard. So,
and
which, a little bit of lore.
Was that Christopher Cross dude?
Eric Cross?
Yeah.
He's just a local politician. He is kind of like his background is in business. He's a executive at a industrial chemical company here in Beacon City, or in and around Beacon City, called Polychem. But he's decided to get into politics of late, running on a platform of public health, and putting some pretty incendiary rhetoric surrounding superhumans, but most specifically recently, the people of Bugtown.
Okay, I'll put that one on hold.
Wait, but didn't...
Let me make myself clear, Jenna. The freaks of Bugtown need to be removed one way or another. When I'm mayor, I'll make it happen.
And didn't Cynthia's dad mention something about that guy, right? While ranting about
Eric Cross. Yeah, he said, he's been putting that story out there. The Barnes Institute's probably responsible for the virus, because it's clearly not a naturally occurring virus, so it must have been engineered. And it's no accident that Ground Zero here is Beacon City, where the Barnes Institute is. And so the Barnes Institute is a scientific sort of think tank, and they've got labs in all sort of areas of science. They do quantum physics, they do robotics, they do immunology, biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, any sort of scientific discipline. There's some lab doing something at the Barnes Institute, doing cutting edge research in those fields. And people come from all over the globe, like the top minds come from all over the globe to collaborate and work and do research at the Barnes Institute. The founder of the Barnes Institute is a gentleman by the name of Sullivan Barnes. He's a genius, kind of like you guys know who what's his name? Dean Kamen is?
No.
My favorite inventor. He's the guy who invented the Segway, as well as the. He's not the guy who fell and almost died on the Segway. That's the guy who bought Segway, who took one off a cliff. But he invented the segways. His name's Dean Kamen. He also invented a bunch of really cool stuff. Think of him as a sort of a mix between Elon Musk, Tony Stark, and Dean Kamen. He's a philanthropic inventor and engineer, and most of the research he does is like and developments he does through Sullivan Systems is to make the world a better place. He's not just making electric cars. He's actually developing, cutting edge insulin pumps and robot assisted surgery and all sorts of stuff. And he's made a fortune, and he's like one of the richest people in the country. And Sullivan Systems, like I said, is a big contractor for the federal government, particularly the military. They also provide all the tech with for the Guard. And yeah, their founder, Sullivan Barnes, is like a fellow at the Barnes Institute.
Well, what do you want to do, Rot? Like, I'm a bruiser. You give me a mission, I can complete the mission. I don't draw up the mission. I don't know how to do that.
Well, I say, let's see if we can find a Barnes Institute genetics or biochemical lab, and we can go knock on their door. And we've got these badges, right? We can just flash these, and even if we're not full members of the Guard, they don't know that.
And what are we looking for?
Wait, well, how are you with computers?
I don't even know how I'm with computers.
You're competent like anybody else in modern day. You've used one. You know what they are. Your memory goes back. You said a year, right? You've been on around the. So in that time, you've picked up how to use a smartphone, how to check email, that kind of stuff.
See, well, that's the thing. The weird thing about amnesia, right? This could be like you remember what a cell phone is and how to use it. You remember what a computer is and how to use it. You just don't remember any of the events of your life.
Right. So here's the thing, though. You remember you had to learn how to use a cell phone and how to use email, and so yeah. When you came to about a year ago, it wasn't so much as like, oh my God, where am I? What is this place? But there was a lot of things that you were just unfamiliar with.
Cool.
Primarily high tech things, but in about a year, you've come to understand them pretty easily.
Right.
Well, and he's gonna kind of like hunker down, like he's and grab a stick and start kind of like drawing doodles in the dirt, and he's just kind of thinking and talking out loud. And he's like, "Well, I think we have a few options. Sask would know where an institute lab would be because of his, the whole quantum physics thing. And then we've got Whisper. I'm sure he'd help us out if he can hear what's in people's heads. We might be able to get some passwords or entry codes or door codes if we bring him along. So we could do that. But then at the same time, we're dragging in people into our bullshit that may not be completely competent if shit hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? And while he's saying that, he draws like, a little emoji poop and a fan in the dirt.
Yeah, that's up to them. Like when Pitch and Gust got attacked, they moved, right? But we ought not ask them to come with us. That's plus the whole idea that he can read my thoughts is creepy.
Yeah, I'm not too cool about that. Just think about the most annoying bullshit song you can. That should be fun.
The most annoying what?
The most annoying bullshit songs you can. Just think about the song that never ends. Just constantly run that through your head.
Song that never ends. All right, so you make your way to. Oh, no, you're going to the Barnes Institute. Sorry.
He throws out his stick and stands
All
up.
of systems.
Yeah, sorry. AI is not very good at.
No, it's fantastic.
It's good at making images, but yeah, the words don't always work out.
Yeah, it doesn't understand spelling, most AIs I've noticed when it comes to putting them in like an artistic form. If you want text, it's got that covered, but if you want like an image with billboards and shit, it's like hell no.
Yep, I hear you. So you head to the Barnes Institute. This is the Barnes Institute around sunset. You head to the Barnes Institute, and this is what you're faced with. It's a large edifice just outside of downtown. It looks like it's got a number of different technical equipment on the roof, from solar panels to communication arrays and that sort of thing. And you see scientists going in and out, constantly engaged in what do you call it? Deep discussion about their latest discoveries. And Steve Sask is happy to take you there, and he's like, yeah, I've been itching to get into this place for forever. And they invited me, so I'm gonna talk to Dr. Poindexter in the physics lab.
Okay, Rob's gonna let Tiplar and Sass take the lead here because it seems like we're gonna need a little more of a professional touch, and that is not his bag at all.
Shit.
So he's just kind of following those two with his hands in his coat pockets, just kind of
Okay.
looking around, taking everything in.
So Steve Sask has decided to dress for the occasion. He's found himself a shirt at a Big and Tall thrift store where he can fit it over his big hairy body. He's wearing like a pair of nice trousers and a collared shirt. He's got his glasses on, of course, because he needs them to see. And he enters the doors of the Barnes Institute, and he sees a woman sitting at the receptionist and a security guard sitting next to her. And she says, "Welcome, gentlemen. How can I help you?" Yeah.
Templar just pulls his jacket open to show the badge.
Oh, welcome. Always happy to have members of the guard here. And what's his name? Gus, Steve Sask, because he doesn't have one. He's like, I've got an appointment to meet Dr. Poindexter in quantum physics. And she's like, "Oh, and your name, sir?" And gives his name and blah blah. Yes, one moment. I'll have Ozzy come and escort you. And so this young intern type boy comes in a white lab coat, starched and clean as the driven snow, and he escorts Steve Sask down a hallway towards the quantum physics lab, and leaves you two at reception.
Okay,
And
so
what can I help you gentlemen with?
oh shit. No, yeah, we should follow Steve, right? Follow Gust into the building. Don't just let him walk off. Just go like we're with him.
Oh, okay. And she lets you go. The security guard doesn't pay you any money. You got guard badges. You're welcome here.
Yeah. So okay, we've got ourselves in the door.
Yep.
Rot, where the hell are we going?
I don't know. Are they going to have a door marked like, "Hey, we make giant bug monkeys here"? But
They're gonna have like a directory on a wall or a touch screen or something where
Yeah.
you are here and we need to go where? What are we looking for?
I guess we'll find that.
So you find a directory. There's one at the reception.
So we would be looking for, I'd assume, a genetics lab or
genetics,
genetics,
virology,
biochemical, whichever one we see first. I would like to roll for it just to see how it would play out.
Sure, let's roll for it. One moment.
Maybe a virology lab, I guess. But then I feel like that would be something that might not be listed, right? Like,
right.
That would be in sub-basement 10 under fucking 20 tons of concrete.
No. They'll have a masked virology lab, like a regular one.
Yeah.
That's where we'll find information, maybe.
Yeah, that's where the scientists will be working on stuff that is, safe to work on, kind of thing. So how do we want to roll this then?
Oh, I have no idea.
So what is it you're trying to do? You're trying to find where you're supposed to go, or you're trying to find a lab, or
we're trying to find
where you want to go.
We're trying to see if there's anything that may be, because we don't quite know. We know the speculation right now is that the bug is a virus. So I would imagine we'd be trying to find something to do with that. So it would have to be something viral or biological related.
So the receptionist sees you guys sort of like struggling with the directory on, well, where do we go, kind of thing. She's like, "Are you sure I can help you, gentlemen? What is it you're looking for? Is there
Okay.
is there a scientist or a doctor you're looking to speak to?"
I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna step in. Okay. We worked with the guard at St. Timothy's to draw the blood samples, and we need to follow up on that.
Oh, okay. Then you want to talk to Dr. Cho. Give me a moment. And she gets on her little communication headset. In a few moments, this young intern boy named Ozzy, he returns, and he says, "You want to see Dr. Cho? Yeah, come with me." And he takes you down a hallway, different hallway this time, and leads you down a few turns, and then eventually to the door. Knocks on the door, and you hear from the other side, "Come in!" And then he opens the door, and you see a middle-aged Asian man who you recognize. He was there at the sample taking action at St. Timothy's, and he's like, "Oh, Templar, Mr. Rott, good to see you. Come right in." He invites you in. It's his office. There's not much lab equipment here, but there is a desk and a computer, and it's got a big shelf full of books with regards to immunology, virology, biology, that kind of thing, medicine.
Step in and take a seat across the desk from him.
What can I help you with?
Yeah,
So-
see, I want to blame Edwin Priest here, but the fact is, I, the player, am not a good investigator. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what to ask this guy.
So we were just wanting to check in on blood samples from Bugtown.
Oh, sure. Anyone in particular? Someone you know, or I mean, they're completely confidential. So
Well, I mean, I don't need a list of names or anything. I know most of them. Were there any carriers found in the few that showed up?
yes, as we predicted, roughly 10% of those who become infected are
10%
legacy
of
carriers.
35 people, so that's what,
Four.
like four
Yeah,
people?
oh, three or four. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's say there were a total of four. Four of those we sampled are legacy carriers. Yes.
And is there any risk to the people of Bugtown or the surrounding area from these four people?
Well, no, because the virus is only spread through sexual contact or through needle sharing. So unless they're involved in unprotected sex, then they should be.
And he's just kind of gonna chuckle. He's just kind of gonna, well, that yeah, that doesn't really help without knowing who they are. But I don't want to invade anyone's privacy.
No, but they'll know. And
Yeah, but they have
it's
access
just,
to their own results. We did discover that roughly 3% of the infected develop superhuman abilities.
Now, do we know what kind of like, is there a way to tell, I guess, the level of abilities that these people are going to develop?
The abilities present themselves approximately 12 hours after the mutation occurs. Sometimes they present themselves immediately upon mutation, and it varies. No two infections seem to result in the same type of ability.
And do we know if there's any kind of genetic or DNA component? Is there something in these people that's going to cause them to develop superpowers?
That we have no data on yet, but it seems to be at this point completely random. There are no racial markers. There are no markers with regards to chromosomes or age. It could be anyone, young or old, that develops these powers. One amongst the community that gave their blood, I believe he's an acquaintance of yours, a man by the name of Steve Sask. He developed some very unique abilities through his mutation.
Yeah, I've seen them firsthand. What exactly makes them unique? I've seen people with, that can control winds and rain and stuff before. I mean, hell, the guard's got somebody who can control storms.
Yes. I mean, it's just unique in the sense that no one else who's been infected with the virus, with the um, ROMV25 virus, has exhibited that power before.
Interesting.
See, this is where the danger lies. When the wrong person gets the wrong powers, and the more this grows out of control, the worse it's going to get. Like, we have to find a way to stop this virus from spreading.
We're working on that, and we're trying to work with the CDC, but they've been kind of slow and dragging their feet. As it is right now, education is the best prevention. People need to know what the risks are and what to do and what not to do. Thankfully, it's got a very short incubation period, and that the legacy carrier population amongst the infected is relatively low.
Wait a second. Where's the nearest CDC building? I wonder if these little badges do anything.
That's a good question. Let's say there's one in Santa Monica, so it's quite a bit of a ways from Beacon City. There's not one in Beacon City, but there's one in Santa Monica, which I think is further south.
He's gonna look at Templar, and Rot's gonna say, "Well, road trip."
I'm not flying you there, so yeah, we're taking the bus.
Oh, I'm not taking the bus. You are out of your mind if you think I'm getting on a bus.
Okay, so what did you have in mind?
I don't know. I'll think of something. Trying to think if there's any more questions I want to ask this guy. So have you made any, I know it's still kind of early. It's only since yesterday since you guys have been able to work on these blood samples, but have you had any progress on a cure or maybe a way to prevent the legacy carriers from spreading the disease? Is there anything that's looking promising at the moment?
It takes a while to develop vaccines of that nature. This is a completely novel virus, and everything we are seeing indicates that it was engineered. This isn't something that occurs in nature.
Who other than you, and he's going to kind of like make eye contact, other than you here at the Barnes Institute would have the ability to engineer something like this in Beacon City?
Well, I imagine there are a few research institutes in Beacon City beyond the Barnes Institute. And from the data we received from the Guard, it was a clandestine lab in the industrial area that had no markings and no name on the edifice that has now been abandoned.
If you're working on something wild like this.
Well, from what I understand, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has retrieved all the documents from that lab and is going through them to find out as much information as they can. And my understanding is that they are in communication with the Guard to help with the investigation. But that's beyond the Barnes Institute. We're interested in finding a way to stop it, possibly reverse the mutations, and research the onset of these new superhuman abilities.
What about the mutation itself? The
Yes.
virus seems very survivable, but is there any way to prevent, like, is anyone looking into that, preventing or reversing the mutations?
That would be in the genetics department. And I would think that it's probably something that could be done, but more often than not, it's going to require cosmetic surgery. Once the mutation takes place, it's now pathology. It's now part of their biology. So reversing it is not really an option. However, if it's cosmetic in nature, like something to do with the dermis, something might be able to be done. Follicles could be sealed or that sort of thing. When the development of whole organs like like eyes or another set of limbs, which is not common, but not also unheard of. That would be a profound change in physiology that would require surgery as opposed to some
Jeez,
sort of concoction that could reverse it.
that's rough.
Yes. So the good thing is that these mutations tend to be benign in nature. Nobody suffers mutations that are leading to their death. No tubers that are resulting in them developing the spread of cancer. They all seem to be rather innocuous, apart from looking strange.
But they're also developing powers.
Some, yes,
Yeah.
some people are.
So, Rod, should we check out genetics before we head to the CDC?
Yeah, sure. And he'll just kind of get up and he'll nod to Dr. Cho.
It was good seeing you. Yeah, I can. If you have any questions, you feel free to call anytime you like.
No problem. Listen here, and he's gonna. I'm assuming there's like when we were given the badges, we were given like some kind of contact number that we could give out if people needed to get a hold of us.
Yeah, you've got like
Yes.
a little a number that's associated with you.
Yeah, he's gonna leave that with Dr. Cho, and he's gonna say, if you make if any significant developments happen, give me a call.
Will do. Absolutely, I'd be happy to help you, Mr. Rod. You as well, Templar.
And call directly. Don't call the guard. Call us.
If you insist, sure.
Thank you.
All right. And as you leave Dr. Cho's lab, you bump into your old friend Steve Sask, and he's beaming. He's absolutely ecstatic about this place. He's like, this place is amazing. You wouldn't believe what kind of tech they have here. Come with me. I was going to go to the cafeteria. Apparently, they've got sloppy joes today. I haven't had a sloppy joe since I was a kid.
Ooh.
Let's go to the cafeteria.
Yeah, come on, Templar. Let's go to the cafeteria.
Yeah, I can sit quietly in a cafeteria.
So Sask has been wandering around this place quite a bit, and he just he's talking a lot of scientific jargon to you that is completely over your head, but he's just completely enthralled with, and he's very, very happy that he's had the opportunity to come here. And eventually, you go into this nicely appointed cafeteria, and you see there's a TV on the wall, and a familiar piece of footage is showing.
Let me make myself clear, Jenna. The freaks of Bugtown need to be removed one way or another. When I'm mayor, I'll make it happen.
And that's the last statement we've heard from Eric Cross, mayoral hopeful. This is the broadcast goes on. Since earlier today, members of his campaign have reported him missing, and no one knows what's happened to the mayoral candidate.
Oh shit!
That's gonna stop and look at Templar. That doesn't sound good at all.
Ugh. I mean, who would do this?
Who wouldn't do it? I'd do it. I have a reputation to keep.
But I mean, where do we start looking? Right? I don't want to be the one who's digging through Bugtown, because that won't bode well for the future here and our ability to help them.
I'll be honest. I'd like to think that nobody from Bugtown, that there wouldn't be anybody in Bugtown that would go that far with it. But I mean, he showed up last week,
Well,
Like,
Gus, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, that
Is there
broadcast.
anyone in Bugtown that you think might actually pull something like that off?
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, we've had more people coming in of late, but anyone I know there wouldn't do anything like that. I can't imagine.
Still, maybe if you and Pitch just keep your ears open for us, don't bug anybody. I'm not asking you to harass anyone.
No, of course.
Just ear to the ground, if anything.
It is concerning, of course. Given his rhetoric, I'm sure that the residents of Bugtown are going to be the first people, the first group of people that are pointed at.
Right. And if it is someone there, it'll be the end. Like that's why you get, if it is somebody, you have to beat him to the punch, man.
So
You have to find
at that point, Rod's going to interrupt. And he's like, "It's an op. It's an op. He kidnapped himself. He's trying to pin it on us, and it's going to screw us all over, guaranteed." And he's going to take a big old bite of his sloppy drink.
I think that might make as much sense as any other.
It could be, yeah. You never know, right?
Mark my words. It's
Trump shot himself.
Trump shot himself. Oh fuck yeah! It wasn't a bullet. It was a piece of glass from his teleprompter. Like
He
what?
busted a blood capsule on him.
Yeah, he had a blood capsule. He put it on him when he dropped down. Yeah, okay.
It wasn't even a cool assassination attempt. So this guy kid just goes into hiding for a little while, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the money in the pool. It wouldn't be hard to pull off.
True.
He is that kind of dickhead.
I mean, from what he's been saying publicly, yeah, he's that kind of dickhead. Plus, I mean, he's a politician. They're all greasy and slimy as shit. And the whole time, he's just like talking through a mouthful of food, like kind of spitting crumbs every now and then, not giving a shit. It's kind of, being himself.
Steve Sassy's trying to eat his sloppy Joe as neatly as possible, but of course it's sloppy, and because he's covered in white fur, it's now stained red and right on his chin, kind of like one of those bushy-faced dogs when they eat and they get that stain right around their mouth that seems to be perpetual. Well,
Sask, this is the first time I've seen someone earn their Red Wings from a sandwich.
He's like, oh, I must look awful, and he's like trying to clean himself up.
He'll laugh and pat up on the back. You're fine, buddy.
Anyway, I got to get back there. They were about to look into a new discovery in dark energy.
That sounds. Yeah, you can have fun with that. I'm not gonna lie. This is boring.
And hey, you know how to reach us.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. I'm sorry, guys, if this adventure's been boring. I apologize.
No, he was just saying that to Sass. This has been great. I'm actually having fun. I'm loving the more role play bits of it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, with that, you guys finish your lunch. Sask/Gust, he goes off and joins the other scientists to listen to a discussion about dark energy, and you feel as though you've gotten all you can out of Dr. Cho, and he mentions that genetics may be the genetics lab may be capable of trying to work out a vaccine, although the virology department is that's their bailiwick, but because of this is clearly an engineered virus, that the genetics team is looking at it closely as well. All of the science, all of the science stuff seems completely above your head, but like over your head, but yeah, you don't get the impression that either Frank Cho or anybody else here is doing anything untoward or trying to hide anything. Now, maybe it's just they're really good at it, or maybe there's something deeper here, or maybe it's it's just a think tank and they're an institute full of scientists who are purely interested in science.
Or maybe chose to front facing to know anything for real. So he's as in the dark as we are, perhaps.
Could be, yeah, that could be the case. There could be some other clandestine thing going on here at the Barnes Institute, but you're not getting any impression of that from your brief interactions here.
Oh.
Well, what do you want to do, Temp? You want to go to ask some questions at the genetics lab and be bored out of our minds? Do you want to hit a patrol? Apparently, we can go try to find this dude that's hiding himself, and it's going to pin it on us. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen.
What about the neo-humanists?
As much as I'd like to
get my hands on them. They really haven't been much of a problem since
What
that
if they're
initial
working
attack.
with Cross?
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
What if they're working for Cross?
What if they're working for Cross, and Cross is the one that's developed that somehow managed to develop the bug, and this whole thing is just a ploy to get elected? I mean, if we're gonna go conspiracy theory, we might as well go full bore.
It all makes as much sense to me as the next.
Well,
CDC, see why they're dragging their feet or no?
that I feel like we could just go to the lighthouse and get a lot of this information from the guard, but I'm not 100% if I trust them or not. Because they would have access to stuff like this too. I mean, I know they're trying to help, at least that's what they're telling us, but I'm not really hip to the fact that they just kind of managed to hack our radios, which means they were probably keeping an eye on us all this time.
Well, they
Essentially.
also gave us tracking chips to put on my belt.
Yeah.
I mean, they are like. Here's the thing: they're the premier superhero team here in Beacon City. They're also responsible for like protecting pretty much the West Coast. So what's going on in Bugtown, while it's something that they are very concerned about, it's only one of the things that's on their plate. They've got lots of other shit they've got to deal with.
Oh no, we're the local deputies now.
Oh, well, hopefully I don't get shot. He'll start like picking food out of his teeth and just like flicking it across the cafeteria.
Some of the scientists look at you like, "Oh my god!" But
Okay,
they
whatever
try and
we're-
ignore you. They going back to their research and their research papers while they're eating their
Whatever we're
sloppy
gonna
joes
do,
or their
we're
salads
leaving
or
this
whatever.
cafeteria.
Okay. So
We don't belong
you
in civilized places, man.
you leave the Barnes Institute and you did you say you want to make your way to the guard headquarters?
I feel like that would be the best thing to do, because then we could get because they mentioned the FBI was looking into it too, and that they're sharing information with the guard, so we could knock out two birds with one stone, maybe by getting the info from the FBI and the CDC, at least whatever info that the guard has from both camps.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Instead of having to make a bunch of trips.
All right. So you head over to the lighthouse with your flight situation that you guys have set up, and as your little tag things come into proximity, they light up green, and you find yourself descending upon the cliff side, and the entrance that you used before, the door opens up, and out steps a woman in a purple costume, and she says, "Hey, I'm Purple Puma. I've got to buzz you guys in." And she stands there, and the thing scans her and goes, "Recognize Purple Puma 4." And she says, "And guests." And they scan you, and I guess it picks up on the chip that's on your belt, and you guys get recognized, and you descend the elevator down into the cliffside, and she says, "I'm Purple Puma. You're Templar, right?"
Yeah, and this is Rot.
Nice to meet you, and he'll just give her a nod.
Good to meet you too. Good work there in Bugtown. I heard about the hate group attack. Nasty shit.
Yeah, hopefully they're not dumb enough to come back. But I have this funny feeling that we haven't seen the last of them.
Well, I'm sure that you can protect those people. I think they've got a couple of other supers there too, don't they?
They do,
there's a few.
but I don't know. I don't know if they're fighters. They did well last time, but they had help.
And you have to understand, these aren't people that have
one had their powers long, and most of them are just regular folks that kind of got through into something that they weren't ready for, you know?
Yeah, nobody's ever really ready for this line of work, she says. But, we do the best we can. Sure, it'll all work out in the end.
And you heard about Cross.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hope he doesn't win. Oh, you mean his disappearance?
Yeah, you guys have a team investigating that, right?
It's a little outside of our scope, but yeah, the news has been all about it. We're watching the
Well,
news.
if you
Wait. Hold on, Puma. Like you're telling me that a politician who is actively trying to eradicate people with superpowers goes missing, and that's outside of your scope of investigation?
You know what? I don't make the call on these things. You'd have to talk to Silver Star about that.
look, all he means is if you have any leads, clues, anything that can point us in the right direction, right? That's something I can do. Beat up dudes who kidnapped some dude. Sounds good.
And I can aggravate enough people to get the information.
Okay, well, come with me, and she leads you to the monitor room, and you see Silver Stars looking at the main display, and he turns back and says, "Templar, Rot, Puma."
SS, nice to see you again.
Silver
And
Star.
he'll snap a quick Roman at him just to be a dick.
Roman salute. You click your heels together too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, knock that shit off.
Oh, come on.
My dad fought in WW2.
Templar.
Okay.
Templar's just stone faced staring at Mr. Rot.
Not that anybody could tell because of the helmet.
The mask is the helmet is always stone faced.
Yeah.
And Puma says to Silver Star, so boss, these two want to look into Eric Cross's disappearance.
Well, before we get to that, we wanted to check in with the Bugtown situation. We went and talked to Dr. Cho at the Barnes Institute, and he was saying that you guys were getting information from the CDC and the FBI. I was wondering if you'd be willing to share.
Well, more from the FBI than the CDC. They traced that clandestine lab where you guys extricated myself and Miss Hawkins, and was Roberta? Roberta was the other one too, right?
Yeah.
And they found that it was owned by a front company. It was owned by a shell organization. It was owned by a Chinese magnate. So looks
Chinese
like
magnet?
Chinese magnate, Chinese oligarch, so to speak.
Oh,
Looks like
okay.
some Chinese executives were behind the operation, using, of course, our own scientists. But yeah, we're digging into it. It's now gone ultra multinational at this point. Canada may be involved as well.
Templar puts his hand or his helmet in his hand, going, "Oh, now it's international spies. I beat people up."
And he's gonna lean over and be like, "Yeah, we might be in a little over our heads with this one."
We'll keep you posted, though. Anyway,
Thank you.
Puma says, so they're looking to find out what happened to Cross. They're thinking it might be connected to Bugtown. And I'm going to scooch in here, and she squeezes by Silver Star, who, because of his big muscular metal frame, he kind of takes up a big portion of this whole monitor room. And she sits down at one of the computers, and she starts gesturing and clickety-clacketing. She takes her gloves off because you can see that her gloves, they have like claws embedded in the knuckles, and it's a lot easier to type without them on. And she starts typing, and she says, "Okay, so let's see what we got." And she starts pulling up, what do you call it? Camera footage from traffic cams and street surveillance cams and that sort of thing. And she tries to localize it on the campaign offices, of Eric Cross, looking for signs of him, and she plugs it in. She hits a few keystrokes, and you see that little squares start to pop up over people's faces, and she opened up another window with Eric Cross's face on it, and the video footage where he was last seen, and
Let me make myself clear, Jenna. The freaks of Bugtown need to be removed one way or another. When I'm mayor, I'll make it happen.
what an asshole, she says, and she goes, okay, we're gonna do a trace and see what we can come up with. And so basically, she lets the computer do its thing, and it starts using its advanced computer brain to comb through video footage and try and find instances of Eric Cross in and around his campaign office, in and around his home, in and around his offices at Polychem, and in and around other places that he's known to haunt. And eventually, she comes up with some footage for it. She's like, "Okay, we've got something here," and you see Eric Cross leaving a small little bistro type restaurant with a woman. He's got a smile on his face, and it looks like he's got some lipstick on his cheek. And the woman looks familiar to you. As a matter of fact, you recognize her right off. Purple
It's
Puma
Phaedra.
doesn't know who it is, but yeah, you recognize her immediately, Mr. Rott. It's Phaedra, the girl you met at St. Timothy's.
So when he sees the footage, his eyes will get really wide for a second, and then he just kind of hangs his head. Oh, it's always too good to be true.
And Purple Puma stops the footage and goes, "What, does that mean something to you?"
Maybe there's I think I might know who that is, but I'll have to investigate a little bit.
Okay, well, fill me in.
Yeah, sure thing. Ki- Pretty Kitty, what was your name?
Purple Puma.
Purple Puma. Yeah. Okay. Your Pretty Kitty is better. Just saying.
Thank you, Puma. And thank you, Silver Star.
And Purple Puma says, "You got nothing for me right now, do you, boss?" And he goes, "Nope, we're good here." It's like, "Well, if you guys don't mind, I'll tag along."
Sure.
Sure. The more the merrier. Let's go.
All right, cool. So Purple Puma joins you on your next leg of this investigation. Like, so, what's the deal with the girl?
Well, she showed up maybe a week or so ago in Bugtown. I think. If it's the same woman, I really, really, really hope it's not.
She's wearing the same clothes she was wearing at St. Timothy's. You're pretty damn sure it's her.
Yeah, he's trying to stay in complete denial because he wants to hit that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Oh, what if she has a power? What if she didn't even have to kidnap him? She could just get him to do what she wanted.
Well, if she could do that, wouldn't be over the news telling everybody that Bucktown is the shit. Should all love this place.
I kind of missed what you said there, Mr. Rott. It was a little garbled.
I was saying, if she had the ability to get him to do what she wanted, why wouldn't she have him all over the news, turning over a new leaf and singing the praises of Bucktown?
Maybe it's like what happened to you. Maybe she has to be in close contact.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Okay, so where do we go? Purple Puma says. What's next?
Well, and he'll look at Templar and he'll be like, "Daddy uppies."
Oh God. Okay, yeah, we're heading to Bugtown.
She's like, okay, I'll take my bike, and she says, "I'll head down to the garage, and I'll take my bike, and I'll meet you guys there."
Perfect. So yeah, let's head over there.
Okay, so we'll do a panel switch, and then you guys arrive at Bugtown, and shortly after, a purple motorcycle pulls up, and Purple Puma takes off her helmet and gets off, and she's standing there with you, and she says, "Okay, I'll follow your lead."
Yeah, well, Pitch knows her, right?
Yep.
Let's find him.
Okay.
Yeah, I think wasn't she talking to Pitch and Sask at some point?
She was. Yep.
Yeah.
You make your way through Bugtown. You find out where Pitch normally hangs his hat. It's a pair of Connex boxes that have been arranged in L configuration, and he's turned it into like a nice little apartment for himself. I mean, it's not insulated, but it keeps the rain off and keeps the sun off, and he's got a nice little sort of mattress in there to flop onto. And you see him sitting on his mattress, and you see as you approach a knock on the outside of the Connex door with a big, heavy, loud, clanging kung kung kung. He calls out, "Come in!" And you as you enter, you see he's sitting on his bed with his legs crossed, and standing leaning up against the wall is Phaedra. And she's like, "Oh, hey, you!" And she smiles at you when she sees you.
Hey,
Pitch,
Phaedra, how's it going?
Good.
Pitch,
What's
we
up?
need a word. Later, you two. Pitch, please.
Phaedra's like, "Okay," and she's like, "Talk to you later, Pitch." And she walks out very nonchalantly, and she taps you on the shoulder as she passes, Mr. Rott. And she looks at Purple Puma and she goes, "Nice tights," and she walks.
So when he's gonna kind of look around the room, look at everybody, and then he's gonna follow her out.
Okay, so you follow Phaedra out
Shit.
while Templar and Purple Puma are in the Connex box with Pitch. All right,
Yep.
who should I go with first? Let's go with you, Mr. Rott. You're gonna confront Phaedra.
We'll see how it goes. So he's gonna kind of catch up to her and he's got his hands in his pocket. He's kind of hunched forward a little bit because he's all scrawny a little bit. Like, you ever seen the old Gorillas videos? How 2D would walk?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
black guys? Yeah, he's kind of got that posture going on.
Great.
So
band.
Phaedra, you got a second?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Not much. I kind of feel like I made an ass out of myself at the church.
Don't worry about it.
Wanted to apologize for that. I'm sorry.
No apology needed.
So before you showed up here, what were you doing? Like, what did you have? I mean, obviously you had some kind of life, but I mean, what were you doing for a living? Where were you working?
Around. I was a barista for a while. But mostly I'm an artist. I do pottery and paintings and that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's cool. Anything I would have seen? Did you ever, have shows or did you just kind of sell them on your own?
I sell them at like church bazaars and stuff like that. Nothing. I'm nobody famous. I make a few pots and bongs and things like that and sell them and make some scratch and
Yeah.
kind of live a free spirit kind of life. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, believe me, I know all about being a free spirit. So I did have a couple questions about your about the the bug. I mean, I know you said you had a mutation, and I'm not trying to get your clothes off or anything, but have you had anything else pop up along with it, other than the whatever physical mutation you've got going on?
Oh, you mean like powers?
Yeah, like pitch or gust or whisper.
Sadly, no. Just this thing, and she lifts up her dress at the back, and you see she's got what looks like a short, maybe 1 foot long reptilian tail.
And he's just,
That's it. That's all I got. And it sort of wiggles like she can move it, kind of stuff. And she drops her skirt again. She's wearing cotton blue underwear.
And he's gonna stand there just kind of like dumbfounded for a second, like trying to process everything he just saw. Like, oh, okay. And that's all. That's it. That just the tail, huh?
So yeah, I mean, I guess it's not too bad. At least I can hide it.
Yeah, that's true. When I first found out about this, a friend of mine, Roberta, I don't know if you've met her yet. She grew warts on her face that had eyeballs in them.
Yeah, she's the one with the eyes. Yeah, it's kind of freaky when you first see it, but she's so nice though.
Yeah, she is a sweetheart. So, we've been investigating the legacy carriers. I don't know if they explained all that when you were giving blood. How did that test result come back?
She's like, well, why do you want to know?
Just concerned. I don't. If you are a legacy carrier, there might be some things you have to change in your life, and it might be a bit of an adjustment. I just want to help if I can.
Thank you, Mr. Rott, but I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself.
Hey, I'm not saying you can't, but everybody needs somebody sometimes. I feel like I just made a Frank Sinatra song reference, and he's just kind of going to shake his head at his own cringe.
I'm going to cut to Templar. All right, Templar, you're in the Connex boxes with Purple Puma and Pitch.
Cool. All right. So Templar says to Pitch. So Pitch, I may have some bad news.
What's that?
What do you know? What do you really know about Phaedra?
She's a nice girl, pretty. She's got a tail.
Where did she come from?
I don't know. She showed up about a week ago.
Because, she seems fairly tight with you and Gust.
Yeah, I think she likes me because I don't wear a shirt.
You sticky man.
No, she's cool. She's nice. She said she wants to paint my portrait. That's kind of cool.
Has she ever talked about Eric Cross? Is that his name, Eric?
Eric Cross, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that she has.
Oh, man. She seems to be the last person to be seen with him.
You don't say.
Pitch.
Huh?
You're not in on this, are you?
In on what? What are you talking about?
Cross is missing. She was the last person to be seen with him.
Well, you know what? Maybe she gave Cross a talking to. Maybe he might have changed his mind about a few things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh dear. Oh my God. Pitch. Tell me you're not.
Don't worry about it, okay? Eric Cross is no longer going to be a problem. I guarantee you.
This is going to
not
make
winning that election.
so much
Bucktown's
more
going to be
problem.
fine.
Pitch. It's going to make so much more problem. Do you know where he is? Do you know where he is?
He's probably hiding. If I had to guess, he's hiding.
Pitch. Come on, man. The whole weight of the government's going to come down on this place.
Let him come.
Oh, shit, Pitch. I just turn around. Yeah, I'm heading out the door on this one. I'm literally walking out. Templar doesn't say goodbye.
All right. Pitch goes back to doing what he's doing, which is really just lazing about in his Connex box apartment.
So, Purple Puma just going to follow me out there?
She's like, I think I have the gist. Yeah, she follows you out. She's like, I think I get the gist of what's going on here, but maybe you should explain it to me.
No, I think you should just let me and Rot do our thing. Yeah, I'm sorry to have brought you in on this. I'll
Hey,
keep.
no, this is my level of stuff. I joined the guard, but quite frankly, I can't I can't fight kaiju in the middle of the ocean. I'm a street level hero like you guys.
Well, this is going to get ugly now. These people know us; they don't know you. So this is up to you if you want to try and
She's
stick
like,
this out.
she does this little acrobatic parkour move. She's like, everybody knows the Purple Puma.
Okay.
A couple people in the encampment though, they see her do her little parkour acrobatics move, and they give a whistle and you know they start applauding. It's pretty
Okay.
impressive.
All right. All right. Still. All right. So we're looking for Rot. Is he still with
Yeah, he's
Phaedra?
with Phaedra. Phaedra's trying to put her some distance. She's like, I appreciate your concern, Mr. Rot, but I can take care of myself.
Well, that's the problem. You might not be able to soon. You
Why
know
do you say that?
well, I don't know if you've seen it on the news, but that asshole Eric Cross that was down here well, you weren't here last week. Anyway, the guy running for mayor that keeps calling us freaks and weirdos and shit,
Yeah.
he's missing. And he's really gonna watch to see what her reaction to that is.
She's like, oh, well, you know, maybe he just wants some privacy. And frankly, he's not such a bad guy once you get to know him.
What does that mean?
Nothing. I had the opportunity to spend some time with him, and he's actually a pretty nice guy once you get past the fire and brimstone.
Phaedra? You have to tell us where he is.
I don't know.
He's gonna turn around and look at Templar and kind of jump a little bit because he wasn't expecting him to creep up behind him like that.
I left him. We went and had a bite to eat at the Dirty Duck Bistro and spent some time this afternoon together at one of his apartments, and that's the last I saw of him.
Where is his apartment?
It's in Midtown.
Do you have an address? And he's gonna look really grim and very disappointed.
She's like, "Oh my God, are you judging me?"
No, Phaedra, but this is serious business. You do understand. I know you said you didn't have powers, but if you've done something to this man, do you understand that the entire weight of the government is going to come down on us? They're going to burn us out.
Phaedra,
It won't just be the neo-humanists we have to worry about. Now it'll be the police, possibly even the guard that's tapped us to help them to do a bunch of stuff. What are you doing?
Phaedra, I don't know how you got Pitch all in on this, but I don't think he's that much of a fighter. You're going to get a lot of people hurt. Just give us the address.
Oh my God, you guys are so dramatic. Fine, you wanna know where he lives? He lives at address Uptown, 2726 13th Street, Uptown.
All right. So I guess
Penthouse 4. You know, anyway.
All right, we're gonna go check this address. Don't leave Bugtown. And he's just gonna Batman stare, with the squinty eyes.
Oh, and Templar adds, and if you do leave, don't come back.
Oh, you guys are such pills.
Street level heroes.
And Puma's like, okay, I got the address. I'll meet you guys there. She hops on her bike.
Wait. And he's going to run and try and jump on the back of the bike.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she lets you on.
All right.
And she motors off.
I just cruise above them.
Yep, sounds good. You make your way to Midtown, and you find the address. It's a small 6-story building with several sort of townhouse type apartments, and you see that there are different apartments on different levels, and there's a series of penthouse type of buildings. Templar, you can fly above and look in the windows, but these guys are kind of grounded. I mean,
so I hate to do it.
Puma can make her way up there by climbing, but but she's gonna wait on the ground for you to do your recon up above.
Yeah, let's do that.
I hate to do it. I hate to do it, but I gotta bounce. So we might have to call it. It's almost midnight, and I got a big day at church tomorrow.
All right, sounds good. I don't mind calling it here. That's actually probably a good spot because yeah, I can work with this. Sorry, there wasn't much in the way of combat or even dice rolling in this one, guys. But
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I actually had more fun role playing than I did throwing dice for the first time in a long time.
Oh, okay, cool. So you like this AI video I made?
Let me make
This-
myself clear. The freaks
Wild.
of Bugtown need to be removed
good.
one way or another.
It
When I'm
is.
mayor, I'll make it happen.
See,
And
now
Tom
we need to
before-
figure out. Now we need to figure out how to get AI video footage of Templar flying rot across the city.
Guy,
That's just
okay.
it, right?
Just before we started, I had mentioned to Craig, I found this AI video editor thing that you can do for free. They give you like maybe 10 minutes a month of, text to video.
Yeah.
And this sneaky bastard didn't say a word.
I was trying to.
Yeah.
I had this whole script that I wrote out, and then I wrote it out. And like basically, it was like probably a 2-minute broadcast. It was the anchor talking to Dr. Frank Cho or Dr. Whatever Cho. I think it was Lawrence Tro or whatever. And then she pivots to talking to Eric Cross, and it's like a back and forth. And the whole thing would have been like about a 2-minute little sequence. And then I'm looking at VO. So VO is Google's AI to video, text to video thing. And you can only do 8-second clips. And then they've got this thing called Flow, which allows you to like basically sort of stitch scenes together. But when you put in your prompts for the video, it doesn't remember what the previous one was. So like it makes all new characters and stuff. So I'm like, fuck, I'll just make a really short thing. So that's what I came up with. Like him going on a quick rant about Bugtown.
Yeah, but
It's
man,
pretty
these
good. It works well. We need to get more stuff like that. That'll it helps with the immersion for sure.
It does. It really does. Yeah. I wanted to, like I said, I want to do like a big 2-minute script, but I mean, I'll definitely incorporate it because basically VO is also free for 30 days and you can do, I think 3 videos a day, but the maximum length of each video is 8 seconds. So
yeah, I had this weird idea when I saw this free AI video thing. Okay, hold on. You don't have to write a script. We already wrote 3. I was just going to try to get it to animate these sessions.
oh, that'd be cool.
Bro,
Right,
we have to get the fucking bug monkeys getting smashed with a
Yes.
refrigerator.
Yes.
Gotta be a visual.
That would be cool.
Right, because there are like they get pretty expensive, man. But there are paid versions that you do like a subscription monthly or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, apparently it won't do that mess with your characters and every generation is a different character. You can tweak the existing video.
Well, yeah, that's what I understand. Like if I were to use the flow thing properly, and there's like I guess there's a super stitch or something like that with VO, where basically you can create assets. Like say design a character. He's a middle-aged politician dude, and he with a fire and brimstone type of manner, right? And it'll create that asset, and then you can use that asset in multiple scenes, right?
You know what?
The next time I go and do Eric Cross, he's probably going to look completely different.
Check this out. Here's a crazy crossover business idea. Okay. Download those files from Hero Forge.
Yeah.
Upload them into the AI. Right.
Yeah. I want to try doing that.
3D models by Hero
Probably
Forge on every movie, right? And you release it in episodes just like this.
There you go.
I could probably I didn't even think about it till just now because I've been so busy with real life stuff. I haven't had a chance to write anything. But I could probably use Suno to come up with theme songs just for the Mad God of Gaming, for the 4-color concepts, for each of the characters and stuff.
Yes, yes.
I like the gecko. I think he's cool.
Yeah, I do too. I've already got an idea of some stuff I want to happen with that guy. That's going to be fun.
If Bill Burr were a superhero.
I'm mad at everything. But I shoot a star and have a gun.
So the deal with his
Like a
gun
giant
is
feet and a bald head.
his gun is called a tongue gun. It's basically it's like a grappling gun. So it shoots this this sort of gooey strand out of the front of it, and he can use it to grapple, and climb, or he can use it to grab shit. So that's why it's
Like
called
pull
the
a
gecko.
gun away from the bad guy.
That's right. You can pull a gun out of someone else's hand, or hit their leg and trip them and shit like that. Yeah, yeah. The gecko, and he chews on a cigar. And he fuck all these assholes.
Yeah, he's great.
You know what it reminds me of actually is the character that Bill Burr played in the 1 or 2 episodes he was in The Mandalorian.
That's right. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Forgot
he
about
doesn't have
that.
a hell of a lot of range, Bill Burr, but fuck, he's great.
Leave Gecko alone, Rod.
What the hell do you want? What the
You
hell are you
mud.
smiling at? Hey, Smiley! Nobody wants to see those fucking teeth. Put them away.
Yeah, nobody can see the fucking teeth because of the shine coming off your head, green guy.
Yeah, fuck your mother. Anyway.
Oh, this is gonna turn into so much fun, man. I'm having a blast with this, by the way. You did good with this one.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. I'm having fun with it as well. So
Oh yeah.
now I just need to I'm trying to think with regards to the rules. Do I put up what you call quick start rules? So 3 or 4 pages on how to create a character, how to play the game, real quick and simple, or do I go for a full right now I've got about 10 pages written for the rule book. Do I go for a full 35, 40, 50 page rule book with all the dirty nitty gritty stuff in it?
No, I mean the quick play writes itself, right?
Yeah,
a
it's pretty
character sheet.
straightforward.
Here's a character sheet. Do what we did. Make it up.
Make
Discuss
your
as you
character.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Negotiate dungeon master and player for powers, right? Make sure it's not ridiculous. And go pretend.
Yeah, go play pretend. Yeah, for sure. All right, boys and folks watching. I don't know how many people we have watching. We didn't get any comments today, so I have no idea if we had anybody watching, quite frankly. But if you're watching this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed today's stream, and tune in. I'd like to do another one next week if these guys are available. So we'll try and do these every week, just like a couple hour sessions of 4-color concepts and the Beacon City Bastards, which is
and look
Mr. Rod.
look forward to the animated versions of this, because I'm pretty sure a couple hours of gameplay would make a solid 30 minutes animated, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Where you don't have to describe stuff, you can just show it, right? So it's
True enough.
10 minutes turns into 40 seconds kind of thing, right? So a lot of gestures and eyebrow, right? All that stuff will go seen really easily. And yeah, so if I could do an episode every quarter,
That'd be cool.
right, with 10 free minutes a month, make
Yeah, that
30
would be really
minutes.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to call it there. Mr. Pox Toxic and needs to go. He's got a big day tomorrow, and I think we're just about done. We'll pick up where we left off. Pick up next week where we just left off, and we'll continue on with the investigation of what happened to Eric Cross. And with that, we'll call it a night. Say goodnight, folks.
Good night, everyone.
Excelsior!
Oh, I got to do my outro video. Sorry, folks. Here we go. And with that, we are